Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club here for your Wednesday night live motorsport action for the week 2 of season 2026B. It is, of course, our VIR night here with the Supercar supports in the Rd-2 Going to be kicking things off here tonight. My name is Danny Amon, filling in for Zach Cabin on the broadcast evening. Adam Lavis taking my usual seat in the production chair. A quick look at how things went after the opening race at Chicago last week with Adam Hayne, your dominant race winner, ahead of Adam Lavis and Darren Lobb, actually, for points there. So good start for the Adams in this season with Darren. And not too far behind there in P3. Chris N, Callum Hodgkinson, the top 5, and then Ryan Jones, Dale Sharp, Stephen Bull, Richard King, and Brad Keck, your top 10 with the points pretty close and tight there. Apologies for the rapid fire run here. 40 seconds still the grid here. So Ben Snell gets pole tonight in this category. First of our 2 races in this format. Braden Sagasta alongside him on the front row. Adam Hayne, your race winner from round 1, going to start from P3. Reece Gosner sharing our second row with him here tonight. Lachlan Purvis, Richard King for the 3rd row. Mark Heppel and Jeff Adams for the 4th. Stefan Lawrence and Guy Leach rounding it at top 10 here tonight. It's going to be Brett Barker, Zamora, Correa Saar, Brookfield, Hodgkinson, Bleakley, Sharp, Baldwin, Bradbury, and Joel Hansen for 20. As the lights are about to go out here, we'll have to leave it there, unfortunately, folks, to see the opening night of the racing underway in a car stalled dead stick at the rear of the field. I think that one is Correa Saar's gone nowhere off the start, unfortunately, number 41 machine. No, pardon me, Jeff Adams. Midfield there. We look towards the front now, in towards turn 1. As we've got a car on the outside, Adam Hayne, your winner from last week, trying to stick to the outside of this long, looping first turn here at VIR. Doesn't quite make it stick on the cold tyres here. Ben Snell will hold down second place for the moment. He's lost the lead to Braden Sagasta off the start line and runs to T number 1 as we come through NASCAR Bend now and try and get ourselves settled in. The left hook and the snake your next couple of turns. And these cars with the tyres still need to come into temperature. Might be a little bit sketchy here as I'll welcome Adam Lavis into the commentary feed for this one tonight. Thanks for taking care of my chair. My Adam broadcast live as we lose Zach Caven to broadcasting elsewhere on the iRacing Series 2. But after one race last week, although a dominant race from Adam Hayne last time out, let's see what the field's got for him here in our sprint racing format. 15 minutes, the first race here tonight as we get this one underway.
Yes, it's a long track, but short races. And one of those tracks where it can be a little bit difficult to overtake given the twisty nature of it. But if we can get a run on this back straight, this will be where it's at. But the end of this straight is also very complicated, so it can also create many incidents on the roller coaster down the hill.
204.4 Ben Snell's pole position lap. So by those numbers there, the 15-minute sprint, we are not getting more than 7 laps, I don't think. Let me quickly just punch those numbers in to a calculator. No, 7.2, so we will get the 8th lap here as Snell back to the race lead, the draft down the backstretch here, pardon me, as I've just been doing that little number crunch for you there. Has got himself back in front of Sagasta. Hayne right on his gearbox too, and Reece Gosner's only a couple of tenths back as they work their way down through the hog pen to finish off the first lap here. As we said, estimated 8. They should get in this one tonight. They've got more laps scheduled on the clock than the 15 minutes can possibly permit. So we will go all the way to time here in this opening race of the Toyota GR86 Challenge for week 2 of the season. Full defense from Sagasta. So Sagasta tries around the outside, off the road, he'll go at turn 1. Can't get the car pulled up in the ABS and will plummet down to P9. Maybe P10 on the exit of turn 1 here. Yep, Lawrence is through, it's down to P10 for Sagasta as he finally recovers his momentum in towards the NASCAR Bend on lap 2. So there you go. Costly from him, and then he runs wide on the exit of NASCAR Bend. He's going to be challenged by Lawrence. Holds the inside though for the run up into the snake. So he'll reset in P9 it looks like here. Still in a bit of draft. Jeff Adams at 8 tenths. We're going to have his work cut out for him here now once again. They do have an inverted top end, so he does have a bit stuck back here. That will mean another front row start for Sagasta to perhaps recover in the 25-minute feature race of this format. Lawrence hounding him up the hill as we come towards Mark Heppel, though, I think having a bit of a moment through the track, but he stays in position. Looks like they're just going a little wide coming through South Bend and up to the old oak tree corner, which is now sorely lacking said oak tree here at this present day and time. We say rest in peace to the old oak tree there. Is on to the backstretch once again, which I believe actually does have a name. I think something like Madison Avenue. I have to look that one up for you folks As they come on down to the roller coaster here, this other, you'd think, prime overtaking opportunity of the circuit. It's fairly narrow, and it quickly loses grip as the road dips down into the first apex, which means you can be aggressive on brakes initially in the dip of the road. That allows you to load the front tyres and help keep them from locking up, but you then suddenly lose that tyre grip as you come over the crest into the first of the apexes there at that turn.
The two things with the tower, it's very, very close the whole way through. Just the one gap from Hodgson to Bleakley, but also if things go from bad to worse for Sagasa, he's now going to himself a slowdown. He's going to have to try and serve down the front straight here, so that's going to hurt him even more than he already has.
Not ideal at all, no. Fast lap of the race thanks to all of the pack racing. The fastest valid time is a 203.282 from Jeff Adams. Guy Leach has a faster lap time of a 203.1, but must have gone off track somewhere. Doesn't count as Adam Hayne, the race lead here as we come up into the left hook and the snake. Bides his time nicely there on lap 3, and about 1/3 distance on the clock as we hit 5 minutes out of 15 elapsed in this race to make his mark there. Very nice for the HDS Racing GR86, but yeah, he's going to have his work cut out to be able to try and get a gap here. Drafting is just very strong all around this circuit, from the snake here to the south bend, all the way back down Madison Avenue, and of course the front straight to so much drafting capacity. It's going to make for some serious pack racing in these cars tonight. But that certainly means that any small mistakes, they do get multiplied pretty badly. And saying that, sometimes that's not the worst thing in the world. It means that we're going to see this competitive racing all the way to the checkered flag, I would wager. There it is. P1 to P14, all in frame there. And the biggest gap is 0.7 of a second from Brett Barker to Braden Sagasa to round out your 11 cars. Hayne defensive, has to shut down Ben Snell, and Gosler tried to get past him there, which opens him up to Richard King on the run to the hog bend. Hit side by side for third place. King will lunge it up the inside, comes the outside, but he holds it and gets clear by the time they come back onto the start-finish stretch. A good move there from the 75 of Richard King without disrupting the momentum of this entire pack. However, Purvis is building a bit of momentum on Gosner for fourth as we come to turn 1. Snell looking at Hayne. Side by side for the race lead, side by side for fourth. Here we go. Start of lap number 4 of what we believe should be 8. And into that first turn, Snell retakes the lead. Can he hold on to it though? As he goes wide, Hayne gets up the inside, nose back in front. Of course, road tracks left here for NASCAR Ben, so who can hold on? Snell nose back in front for this left-hander turn 3. He'll reclaim the spot, but he runs it in hot. Hayne over, under twice in the opening part of the lap. Side by side, still for the lead of this race. Into the snake they will go, and Snell inside once again should finally hold on for a couple of corners as we make the run up towards this. Stefan Lawrence is slow, and he's off the road, I think, in the 052 machine. Tumbles back towards 14th, and there he is. The right sim racing driver rejoins from the grass. Not ideal situation there at all. As one more go with the nose of Adam Hayne, staring into the back bumper of Ben Snell from over there. Try and find the turn in. He'll throw it out wide, let the car run a bit hot because it doesn't hurt him momentum-wise, and then try and get this double apex right so you can smash the power here at the Oak Tree corner and maintain as much momentum as you like. He's got a good run on Hayne here and also keeps the gap to Richard King, so it's full eyes forward to your HDS Racing driver here on this 4th time of asking down the Madison Avenue. And instead of going for the move, they'll try and protect their position into the back bumper of Ben Snell to keep clear of drivers like King and Purvis as they make their way up to the roller coaster once more here. And no big moves coming. Everyone's still in the draft pack all the way back to Eduardo Zamora. Hodgson has been dropped. Some part of that team. We actually see here Stefan Lawrence what's happened. So he's got the 95 car there to his inside. Brett Barker. Contact is what happens there for that one. So pushes him out well wide and out of the pack there into the second group of cars. Back live, side by side behind this shot for 5th place. Gosner trying to hang on to it from Guy Leach. And it looks like he will do so through turn 1. Yep, the inside line shorter course gets the overlap cleared up side by side between Heppel and Jeff Adams and Heppel, sorry, as they head into NASCAR Bend. Got Sagassa back in behind them here. 7, 8, 9, on contact and around Heppel in the fence. King pushed up, pardon me, Adams pushed off the road as well. And separate to all of that, Chris Bleakley has ended up at the back of the field and struggling there as a mechanical black flag. The Heppel, the front end of his car is severely damaged. That's now going to be a painful limp back around to either trying to fix the car up and see if there's any extra places to regain late on in this race. Or he may even have to contemplate retirement there. As back to the lead we'll look here with Snell, Hayne and Richard King. Lachlan Purvis up to P4 ahead of Gosner as they enter the oak tree. It's time to watch and see. Is this becoming quickly a three-car battle? Because Gosner trying to get past Purvis here. Doesn't have the overlap down the Madison Avenue. Gets half wheels in the dirt. Goes back outside. Probably needs to just sit on the back bumper and push here, does Reese. But he'll look to the inside as we come towards the roller coaster once more. Battle of the late breakers. Purvis actually checks it up to make sure he holds the apex there. And we'll concede the spot for now to the 647 of Gosner. Keep doing this though. They'll lose enough toe there to be out of the track. So here's what happened to Chris Bleakley. And unfortunately, it's all by himself. The tiniest bit too wide. Entering NASCAR Bend, sees the car loop around. And that is him done for that particular moment. He sits 19th out of 20 cars. Now it's back live. And now the 1-9 cars of Purvis and Sagassa are going to push each other along together. Try and reattach themselves, as Gosner's looking to do on Richard King here too. Once again, start seeing the alternating strategy plays. The first foul at 203.1 goes the way of Sagassa in P6 at the end of lap 5 there. Let's see if he can pick up that bonus point that he's so richly is of asking. 4 minutes to go now. Yeah, they will just sneak an 8th lap here. Folks, we will get every minute that we have on the clock and then some. So don't you worry about that here tonight. Going to go to another one of our disruptive laps replay. So there's the end of Heppel and Adams' incident there on the exit of turn 3. We're still going to pick it up from a little bit further back here. So you see Heppel on the inside here, does have the run on Adams, but Adams is still there back on the track, and whilst Adams hasn't necessarily hard stuck the white line on the outside, it looks to be a case of two cars fighting over a pretty limited scrap of the racing surface there. Adam, as we go back live here on lap 6.
Yeah, indeed. Looks here that they've gone out to the use of that curve's running out. And unfortunately, they're both on that same bit of track at the same time. And also, even from that blimp, it looked like there was a bit of netcode. And you can see netcode from a blimp. That's not ideal.
That's a very good point there indeed, as we'll head up the hill once again. Snell trying to fend off Hayne, who's fending off Richard King for second place. Goes in deep though through the roller coaster, so Gossel's going to get the run, the jump ahead. Purvis going to swing around the outside of King through the hog pen here, and that'll mean it's back to P number 5 for Richard King here. One slightly misjudged attempt at the pass around the outside of the roller coaster by a matter of about 25 seconds, if that. Lap 7 will begin, and Barney keeps his hands in check. Just over 12.5 minutes in this race down, which is just enough time to get 7 laps and an 8th in as well. You fast, that goes the way of Reese Gosner there, 2:03.058. Now very much setting himself up for a last lap run at the top 2 by the looks of it. King and Purvis side by side through NASCAR Bend. Purvis out wide, just left enough room on the rejoin there by King. And everyone stays alive, but a bit of a tight line is into the snake here from King. Going to check this group up. Gap up to 1.1 seconds from Purvis to Gosner. Forward a second or thereabouts, so Richard King's going to have to get a bit of a push. I still hope he is in the slipstream because it's holding right on 0.99 actually. It's up to 1 second. This might just be it. We're down to 3 cars potentially with a shot at the race win here in the opening sprint for our Toyota GR86 challenge here tonight at VIR, but still a lap and a third to go, so I probably shouldn't rule that one out as A slight off-track excursion for Brookfield through the South Bend, but I think he's got through that one A-okay by the end of it. He's down in 11th place at Eduardo Zamora, holds the invert position at this point in time, and he's on the tail of Hodgkinson and Brett Barker, so never say never there. As the 1-9 cars push each other along, can they close in on the race lead? They'll swing past Richard King. Purvis, though, can't get there. Adam Haynes gone to the race lead. Meanwhile, up into the roller coaster, but he's in deep. Snell will try and get back past. He gets to the race lead. Sliding is Haynes as he rejoins the circuit. Gosner up to second. He's positioning himself perfectly, it seems, for a last lap attack for the race win here in the opening sprint. Purvis and King still scrapping it out, and King stuck to the apex, going to lose one spot, maybe two to Sagassa, maybe three to Guy Leach, as the white flag will be in the hands of Barney here for the 8th and final lap of this sprint here. Another 5 kilometres of racing is beckoning here from VIR for this opening sprint here. Snell now from Gosner for the race lead here through turn number 1. Sagassa holds off King as we push through the exit of turn number 1. Try and get the tighter line earlier. Power cleaner run out there just in the background. Hodgkinson, Barker and Zamora together still as well for the final spots in the top 10, which will decide who starts on pole, which looks to be Zamora's position for this time being. So that won't matter as much. King and Leach scrapping side by side up into the snake here. The 1-9 cars look to be checking out from those two and trying to bridge the gap to the top 3 as Hodgkinson tries to hang it on the outside of Barker. Slippery conditions there. Check him and Zamora up. Zamora looks for the clearest way through, but there is no way through. Even though the track's got the width, there's no line to set it up here for these S's here, which are flat out in these kinds of cars. Barker holds the preferred one. Hodgkinson trying to get in position of sorts, and they will go single file. It brings, though, Richard Brookfield back to the question of a top 10 finish. The leaders up into Oak Tree. Snell, Gosner, Hayne is your order. On to Madison Avenue. Snell has a margin. Does that mean that Gosner's going to get a run here, or has he got too much work to do? Hayne is on his gearbox. They should push him up, though. Watch it count down along this longest part of the track here. Snell has all the defense he has to do into this final part of the circuit. And if he gets through here, it's still not over because the hog pen might set up a run to the start-finish line. Gosner to the inside for the start of the roller coaster here on this final lap. Snell won't commit fully, or will he? He's still in there side by side for the race lead, but Gosner's checking out. Gosner clear as he exits the roller coaster complex. He's got one final part of the track to go. Hayne up the inside of Snell. That might just do it for the race lead here as they dip down through the hog pen and onto this final bit of straightaway section. And with the margin he's got out of the hog pen corner, and 2 by 2 almost. I'm going to put here as Reece Gosner's win in the opening part of the night here for the Toyota GR86 Challenge at VIR. Gosner from Snell from Hayne, your top 3.
Well, it's a very, very close race now, especially given how technical VIR is. For those guys to keep that group maintained the whole race, very entertaining, very well done, and well driven by all. Oh, close finish.
Side by side there across the line. That would have been Chris Bleakley and Daniel Corrier sides within 2 decimal places. The official margin, 0.008 of a second the way of Chris Bleakley. Have a quick look at it here. So it starts all the way back on the run to the roller coaster now. So
no, we're not going to get this kind of race in time.
We might get cruelly cut off as Mark Heppel comes to the flag. Oh, that's impressive. So Bleakley's got him. So this is what I was warning about. It might have happened at the front, but didn't quite do so. So Bleakley thinks he's got, well, gets the move done initially at the roller coaster, but then a run through the hog pen gives Corrier a second chance at it here, as we unfortunately have the session end on us, which will cut us away from that replay of the run. But with that, we can officially bring up the race results, perhaps, first of all, and confirm the margins across the line there. 0.4 of a second goes the way of Reece Gosner for the first of 2 races here tonight in the Supercar Supports GR86 Challenge. And then Adam Hayne, after winning comfortably in the wet Chicago, will have to settle for a 3rd place finish there tonight, with the 1-9 cars of Lockie Purvis and Brendan Sagassa running at the top 5, keeping within a second of the leader by the end of that race. Richard King will have to settle for P6 with Guy Leach behind him in 7th. And the next pack of cars, and Callan Hodgkinson, Brett Barker and Eduardo Zamora, just 0.3 of a second covering them to round out the top 10. And they were closely followed by Richard Brookfield towards the end of that race, as it got pretty scrappy there between those cars. Stefan Lawrence unable to recover much more than P12 by in that one. Same for Jeff Adams with the stoush with Mark Heppel. Sees him down in 13th, and Dale Sharp in 14th. That drag race between Bleakley and Corrier-Sarr, as I said, 8/1000ths of a second the way of Bleakley there across the line. Joel Hansen in 17th ahead of John Baldwin in 18th, 10th and a half, barely that between them. That would have been a side-by-side run as well. Brett Bradbury, another second odd back from Baldwin in 19th, and Mark Heppel, the only driver who had to make a detour to the pit lane, and so ends up in a somewhat painful looking 50 seconds off.
That's 20 seconds.
The final
let's
finishing place.
Let's see if I can get this gap.
As we're going to see if we can queue up the run to the line on that very last lap there for Chris Bleakley and Daniel Corrier-Sarr. There's the lap indeed, and that is what 8/1000ths of a second looks like here at VAR in a GR86. There is a splitter. I'd say Corrier-Sarr is in front of the front wheel, or maybe at the axle for Bleakley. Yeah. Either way, it's nothing.
It's about maybe 6 to 8 inches.
Low-powered cars make the time margins pretty tight, even when it makes a small number look actually quite a bit bigger than it really is, given the speed difference involved. So, 25 minutes coming up here for our main race of the Toyota 86s tonight. Let's walk you through the invert top 10. It'll be Eduardo Zamora and Brett Barker to start our front row here tonight. Callan Hodgkinson and Guy Leach for the second row. Richard King, Braden Sagasta on the third. Lockie Purvis, Adam Hayne for the fourth row. And Ben Snell, Reece Gosner going to round out your top 10, of course, inverting their spots from that first sprint. Then we'll go as they finished. So, Richard Brookfield, Stefan Lawrence, Jeff Adams, Dale Sharp, Chris Bleakley, Daniel Corrier-Sarr, Joel Hansen, John Baldwin, Brett Bradbury, and Mark Heppel, our 20 drivers who started and finished race one. We'll see who, it looks like we've got the full field here, so going to be everyone taking a crack at the second and final race here tonight. So, let's get ready to go here, folks. And we are underway for 25 minutes, and Zamora has bogged the start. It's going to see Brett Barker go around the outside, and similarly for Guy Leach, and better starter, I'd say, might go to Richard King, but it's three wide with him, Zamora and Hodgkinson. It's going to try and settle down a bit more of a 2x2 formation in through turn number one through this front pack of the field. So, 25-minute race here tonight. It is a compulsory stop too, as well, in this second race here. So, don't be worried, folks. We've got now not just racing strategy and how you manage to pack and your position in it. You don't have to worry about when you come into the pits to tick off the checkbox of that stop here tonight as we come through the snake for the first time. Purvis a little out of position to be followed up by Ben Snell. Richard Brookfield, because he's got a slow down penalty to his name.
And a jump start for John Baldwin too.
And yeah, trouble for John Baldwin to the jump start. So we're on for possibly 13 laps, but with the pit stop, I'm going to say we actually end up sticking to 12 laps in this race here tonight. So a 50% extension on laps completed. I would suspect it's top couple of cars there, single file, with Stefan Lawrence trying to make some moves, and is indeed up into 10th place. Race one winner as off spin. Bleakley, Dale Sharp ended up tagging, and it's sent Bleakley's car completely around the wrong way, and unfortunately he's going to be the one off the back of the pack here in this first lap. So let's look at this one here. Bleakley, the Martini car isn't involved. He's just in touch with Dale Sharp's car, unsettles his own, and around he unfortunately will go. Watch them come up into the roller coaster in the mid-pack here. Purvis. Again, drivers here, Adam, interestingly, who started at the back of the top 10, haven't really made big moves to start this one off. Your biggest mover in the top 10 is Richard King, up 3 places to second.
Yeah, and there was also a slight tap on the exit of the roller coaster there. Jeff just touched the back of a race there. Interesting. So Sagasta's going to show this. This is an interesting strap by the 1-9 guys. So I was going to say it's going to be interesting to see when you do your pit stop here, because like as much as this track is twisty and turning, given that we all stayed in a pack in the last race, it does suggest that the slipstream is holding things together.
Huge dive bomb from Adam Hayne has pulled as saw him fly off the road, take the front of Zamora's bumper, or threatened to take it with him anyways.
Nervous, speeding
Zamora
penalty.
got away with it. But big unforced error there from Adam Hayne. And speaking of unforced errors, Richard Brookfield, I think he's done that by himself through the dirt at NASCAR Bend. Recovers to position 7. Lap 2, and a bit more high-stakes drama here. The top 10 far more fanned out as a result here. Adam, let's go look at what Adam Hayne says. Up the inside of Hodgkinson at turn 1, and it just doesn't get the braking right in that attempt to make one pass, and ends up inadvertently going for 2, which doesn't work from that far back at VAR's turn 1. And a replay of Lockie Purvis in the pits.
He's got I think he's got a penalty for some sort in the pit lane.
Yep. Oh, hang on. Can we go an outboard shot of that pit entry, please? Just going to check something with the way he came in there.
We got the line. Yeah.
If he crosses over the painted stuff.
No, he's all right. I think he's
okay. So it'd have to be a speeding issue of some kind.
Yeah, he's done something. I'm not sure exactly what. It doesn't look to me. It doesn't look obvious. So it must be he's got done somewhere.
All right, I'll go see if I can pick it up myself. I'll let you folks know. So pit speed limit here is 60 kilometers an hour. Pit speed limiters. Yeah, his entry is clean. Initial entry, anyways. He was a little overspeed at the line, but he got us. He may have just been speeding for a fraction of a second too long. Oh, no. Partway down the lane, he comes off the limiter and jumps up to 70 k's an hour. That's your answer.
He's bumped the wrong button trying to set something.
Looks like it. Well, let's get back to the live racing action, folks. Richard King to the race lead. Brett Barker tried to hang on to it. Snell, though, dives up the inside of Leach and ends up alongside Barker for second place. It's a leader, but then it ends up almost being 2 by 2 plus 1. As in an NASCAR Bend here on lap 3. King is deep, blocks up Snell. Hodgkinson looks up the inside of Guy Leach. Can't make something stick, so it's King. Brett Barker through this excellent left hook into the snake here. And they end up resolving themselves into single file. They can't go side without losing their pace here in this one. Good to see you, folks. If there's any questions or just keep the comments rolling in, we'll try and cover anything that comes up here tonight as the top 4 snaking around up the S's. So someone was about to lose the rear end as they got a bit of a touch that they didn't want. Coming down through the South Bend here now into this little dip and rise again to the Oak Tree corner. Lead pack now extends back to at least Stefan Lawrence. Probably, as you know, Richard Brookfield is there. And Reese Gosner is now on the back of it too. So your top 9 have reformed into a single train. And because of, I think unfortunately for Sagasta and Purvis, because of the error of Lockie Purvis in the pits, that will have scuppered the hopes of the 1-9 duo. They can't work together in this race. The only thing they've got going for them, maybe, is if these top cars just scuff each other up enough, it might be able to counter the benefits of the slipstream they'll be getting everywhere else on this circuit. But
it's going to be a matter of whether is clear track better than the train. As Ben
Snell dives in.
Snell might be going to join Benny Sagasta.
Yeah, the thing is though, I'm not sure I like this because unless he comes out with Sagasta, he's got no friends, and no friends is no draft, and no draft here is a lot of speed loss. A 206 is for your race leaders. I will just keep my eye out for Sagasta when he crosses the line as to what his lap time is to see a reference. His last lap was a 208.8. If that's the case, he's lost 2 seconds by having no one to work with here. Although he will get out.
He's undercut.
205. Actually, there you go. He was faster than the race leaders on that lap, and he's comfortably cleared Ben Snell. So, despite my concerns, Sagasta is actually making this work for me.
So far, he's backing himself, and it's actually paying off so far. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, that's a warning shot to all of these guys here at the front of the field. They either need to stop fighting and just push the leader, or they need to get into the pits and then push the leader of the group to reclaim the run on Sagasta's. Arguably, based on that margin of about 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Snell was right in this. He will go to the race lead through the pit stop cycle. If these guys keep going at each other like they are going now, Callan Hodgkinson went at Brett Barker, didn't get it settled. He's now got Guy Leach and Stephen Lawrence going at him both. He tries to give the squeeze down Madison Avenue. Lawrence is a little protective of the car and moves himself half into the dirt for a moment here, but the push is slowly working in their favour, and eventually they'll clear Hodgkinson on the straightaway, but the last of the late breakers in this group might just be Hodgkinson. As we come through the roller coaster, Lawrence slams the door shut on the exit of the turn there, and Hodgkinson able to not lose too much momentum in the process. So one of them hit the pits. Next driver to hit the pits will be Richard King. Righto. Another benchmark here. In fact, the driver from the race lead. We'll see how this goes for him. But
is he
behind Sagassa, maybe even behind Snell.
These two will definitely work together. But another telltale that this group has been holding each other up, as we saw, it was a split group up the ninth, but that secondary group has come up and caught up to these guys. So that lead group was not the fastest group on track.
No massive surprises there, just a little bit of patience and coordination. It makes such a big difference. A couple of 204s from the drivers in this pack. And I can confirm Richard King is out of the pits and about 1 second behind Braden Sagassa. He did have a faster pit stop, which helped him slot back in to this group, and he should be able to latch on the Sagassa there. He's within a second. He should get just enough draft here to be able to make his way back to the man in front of him. But needs to lock in here. Speaking of this, there you go. Your lead us up the hill towards the South Bend. We're getting a bit of formation flying starting to happen, but Lawrence is still searching around there a lot in the third position. See if you can find something here. It's like you really just can't afford this, fellas, because any missteps and they will just hand a free pass. And they'll all end up coming out at around Richard King's position. And critically, Sagassa and King have been able to somewhat drop Ben Snell. So that's important there. On board with Gosner looking at Hodgkinson for this fourth position. Top three, nose and tail. Gosner looking for the outbreak here into the roller coaster, but he's on the outside. Hodgkinson's got him covered. Braking power for braking power. No change in the position there through this part of the circuit. All right, fellas, lap 5, or what I estimate to be 12. Top 5, top 6, all staying out. It'll be Jeff Adams, though, to the pit lane to join his teammate and the others who have stopped in this race.
So this group's still only doing 205s.
There's Hodgkinson to the inside of Lawrence for third place. Hayne looking to the inside of Gosner as a consequence of all of that one there for P5. Conditions in this race a little warmer.
That might be why the lap times might be a little bit slow. Like, can you explain that?
It was a pretty notable shift. It's through the NASCAR bend. They're just checking each other. A check up from Brett Barker into Guy Leach puts Hodgkinson on his inside at the left hook, and as they come around into the snake, he'll split the injectors on line 86s. Lawrence wants his way through, touches the back of Leach and gets that car into a little wiggle as they try and make their way up the hill. Fractures this group once again, so there you have it. Just struggling to keep themselves disciplined at this point in time, it feels like. Come up and over the crest into the South Bend. Try and get yourself settled, sorted even. And it looks like it's going to be reasonably tidy this time through the Oak Tree corner, but the proof is in the pudding. Jeff Adams is behind Ben Snell, who's though starting to latch onto Richard King. Himself a 204.1. So that's working out well for him. Up into the roller coaster. The moves. Brett Barker there almost swung across the nose of Stephen Lawrence. End result though, the injectors on line cars are still split by the right 052, and now Gosner will get in the middle of this battle as well. lap 6. Most of the cars stay out. Adam Hayne, though, says it's time for him to pit. Into the lane he will come. As Hodgkinson to the race lead now. They've gotten past Brett Barker on the run. And Lawrence will take it off him into the first turn. So the dodging and the diving and the dealing as there's a bit of elbows out for this P1 position here. And into, and then as Carbon once more. A new order is looking to establish itself here.
Yeah, they all want to be leaders, and none of them seem to want to trust the other one with their own pace to actually drag them along. They all think that they're the faster one, and that's actually slowing them all up.
Adam Hayne, Jeff Adams, I think, are side by side. NASCAR Bender, that second pack of that battle pack we've been talking about. They are indeed. They're just behind Snell and King and Gasser, but they've got to get themselves sorted out to be able to rejoin that pack of 5 and not let it splinter. Because if it does, of course, that'll be a bit of a disaster. Snell, the fastest car on the circuit, 203.5. Gasser was second a lap faster than Lawrence by perspective. This lead pack does not have the cohesion to be able to keep up the pace. They are all going to be undercut by this man here at the very least, and probably a fair few more of the cars in behind. The oak tree, look at them go as wide as they dare. Haynes still wants a way through to rejoin this group. He's just, I think really, you've just got to work with who you've got. You've got Jeff Adams, so you've got to work with him to push up. You've got to try and close these gaps in your pack so that when this massive pack pits, I haven't seen any of them pit just yet. Lap 7.
The last thing you want
any
is
takers? No.
Last thing you
all
want
of
is
them stay up and keep going.
The last thing you want is someone from this gap, this group of cars, filling in the gaps in your group of cars.
First 204 from the group goes to Stefan Lawrence, but Hodgkinson turns him at turn 1. Contact, he straightens it back out. And because of that, they'll just go to the rear of this group of 7. But it's now going to be Reese Gosner back to the lead of the race. And actually a little redress from Hodgkinson before NASCAR Bend to apologise for that one on the circuit. But again, another moment of disruption to the momentum of this bunch. And as they come up through the snake, all the while, just handing this back, the 130 of Sagasa.
The plus side for this pack now is going off the first race results. Gosner was the faster driver, he's out the head, so this might be the best thing for this group if they can work with him.
Yeah, but they're running out of laps to do this. If anything, they needed to be doing this 4 laps ago. I think he'll just drive it over the out of the roads, out of the track limits through the south. And then he's in deep. He actually nearly he has the left rear in the dirt through the oak tree turn. It checks everyone up. Everyone gets the momentum stalled by that one there. Sagasa within 20 seconds of the race lead there in P10. He is going to be out, I think. I just can't even really picture where. Now, massive spread. 1, 2, 3 is pretty well spread out. Then look at this here. In behind Guy Leach. Brookfield trying to lead Lawrence and Zamora into the roller coaster here. Lawrence up the inside as they come into the right-hand section of that part of the track, but left-hander inside and short line plus grip for Brookfield, who will maintain 4th place. Anyone to pit here on lap 8? The answer is no, as Leach will do a bit of lawn mowing on the exit of the hog pen. So they've got the fuel to keep going. To start lap number 9 of this race, but I think should still be 12. As Brookfield going to get a bit of a push from Lawrence to the inside of Guy Leach at turn 1. Leach, though, tried to hang on to the spot from Brookfield, who leant on his right front corner as he put the power down and said, I'm going through. 2:05.3 from Gosser on that last lap. And watching these guys here, some of them just pushing so deep into the turns, they're having to tap the brakes on the corner exit to get themselves sorted out. As there we go, Sagasa has got Ben Snell right on his gearbox now. Richard King is joining them, along with Adam Hayne and Jeff Adams. This 5-car group lapping in a 204, Snell in a 203, King in a 203. In fact, actually, all of them but Sagasta doing 203s. They are reeling in the front pack. No fuss. I think they know what's at stake this one here. Doesn't matter if your teammate's not in this group, Adam. You've just got to stay nose to tail. Try not to disrupt the guy in front of you through the corners. Stay close enough to give him a push down the straights. Then you all benefit. And then you can go racing towards the end when you have the track position to be able to do so.
Yeah, with the split strategy situation like it is currently, you kind of want to lean towards what you see a lot in the GT3 Pro split, where doesn't matter where you are, they just work together until the pit stop phase, and then once they get to a point, then someone drops the hammer, everyone starts battling. But if you're all battling only slows you down unless you get it done clean and fast. So it's one of those tricky things. I bet we're going to see Snell's one of those people. He's going to want to get up here, and Sagasta's not going to want to let him go. So this could be a bit of a hindrance to this group if they don't work together.
Let's watch this one here. Side by side between the two of them. And Snell should hang on to this one. But this, again, it's a little bit of time lost by doing this. Allows King to be up alongside Sagasta. Hayne is now right behind them, along with Jeff Adams. We had one car from the group, sorry, two from the group, Pat. Richard Brookfield and Callum Hodgkinson are in. This is your next reference mark here, folks, to watch these guys hit the pit lane. Brookfield is going, but look at this. Brookfield is there, and he's gone. He's just nowhere near this group. He was at the back of the pack by a couple of seconds thanks to the disruptions. Gossner's actually got a 2-second gap now on Stefan Lawrence, thanks to all the shuffling and the squabbling. He's also back doing 204s. He's finding his rhythm as the fuel burns out, and he's been left alone to be able to just run. Sagasta is now actually being pushed back in this group. Snell through, Hayne through. Gets a touch, though, from Sagasta as they enter the left hook. So this second pack starting to fraction now here on that race.
I'm actually surprised.
Just maybe.
I thought Hayne might have pulled the trigger too late. He's managed to claw it back, so he's now back in the chance to win this race. I thought he stayed in that lead group a bit too long, I thought, but he's actually possibly going to pull another one off.
The main threat for me is Sagasta. Now that he's broken clear of the pack, he's immediately put himself in the mid-206s, which is what these guys have been doing when they've had clean air. It's actually what Sagasta and Snell did last that much. They were also side by side up into the roller coaster. Jeff Adams slow down on the back of this group. You have to somehow try and dislodge that whilst in the draft down Madison Avenue. That might be nasty here. Might take a moment to try and bleed it at the end of the straightaway. Careful how he does it though. So watch this pack. I mean, check in with the leaders. Anyone hitting the pit lane on this occasion, because we're coming to what I think is 2 laps to go. There we go. The Injectors cars and Zamora all hit the pit lane. But Gossner and Lawrence are staying out. I hope they know they've got a compulsory stop they have to complete. But the other thing is, if they don't know about this, and if the cars happen to have the fuel to do it, this is going to mean that we actually get to the start of lap 12. And we will be, with enough time on the clock, the white flag won't come out. As here we go. Snell, Hayne, Sagasta, King, Adams, all of them, even with Adams' slowdown through, and they are miles clear of this bunch. Here, look at them all come out here. This was near the front of the lead pack. This is the signal. The front pack has left it too late, even Gossner and Lawrence. But the main thing is, with them going long, this may trigger a 13-lap race because of where the timing line is and where they will be when they come onto the start-finish stretch.
And the question is that going to hurt people who've aimed on the 1-second stops? There's a lot of them. Brett Barker, for example, just did a stop and go. He basically just stopped and he didn't put any fuel in with a 0.58 stop.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, that's an important point then. Okay, so are they just stopping to satisfy the CPS requirement rather than actually adding any fuel? That would be interesting. If there's actually literally no need to save, there's no problems with fuel at all. If they've all got at least 13 laps of fuel in the car, then hey, no problem. It's just a matter of completing the CPS requirement to stop and go, at least. As this group here, which we think is for the race lead once this CPS cycle is completed. Gosner and Lawrence still yet to come in. Surely the hammer has dropped by now that they need to pit. Check in on the top two as we'll keep the broadcast. Watch him here. So here we go. Gosner's looking to come here. Here we go. Comes to the pit lane. So, actually, even at their pace, this will trigger the white flag this time around. We're coming up on 2 minutes to go. It's now inside 2 minutes to go. The question is, who's going to be the car that receives the white flag? It should be Ben Snell as he comes through the hog pen. Gosner is only just hitting his pit box in the middle of the lane now. Oh, it's a 4-second stop for these two. They've actually taken some fuel as Gosner and Lawrence is, there we go. The white flag is out in Barney's hands. And as expected, this undercut pack has stormed past these guys. No chance for any of our long runners. Yeah, look at this. Goss has come out best of them. He's 5.5 seconds off the back of Jeff Adams here. This is your battle for the race lead here. Ben Snell, Adam Hayne, Braden Sagassa, Richard King, Jeff Adams. These are your 5 potential winners in this feature race here tonight for the GR86 Challenge.
And chances are, if Reese gets to the end of this race, he's got a crap ton of fuel still left in that car. If he didn't have to take any fuel then, he would have been probably just in slipstream range to get back on his group in the last lap.
Gosner has resumed, as I said, look, Gosner is the head of that train. If he hadn't taken fuel, then maybe he gets a slither of draft off Jeff Adams, but up the S as we go here. Top two look pretty well in sync between Snell and Hayne. To come over the crest of the South Bend, Sagassa looks better than Hayne in that particular spot on the track, but now it's all about this corner here, of course, the Oak Tree. Who's got the best line, the best apex, the best power down, and now may the drafting games begin. Generally speaking, if you can hold the outside of the roller coaster through 14A, the right-hander apex of that complex, turn 15 can be yours, but the side-by-side potential is immense. Too wide for the race lead. Sagassa wants it, but he can't get through. They just hold the middle of the road as up towards the roller coaster. Hayne is in deep, Snell's in deep, touches him, he pushes Hayne off the road. Sagassa gets back up underneath Ben Snell, runs to the line, coming up here after we get to the hog pen. This could still be on, but no, Snell's off. Zamora's off in the second pack as well. But Braden Sagassa, oh, Snell out of fuel.
He's
Snell
out of fuel.
coughing, I think. Or is he giving it back to Adam Hayne? He gives it back to Adam Hayne, but Braden Sagassa picks it up perfectly as it's side-by-side for the subpar drivers. Oh, it's a genuinely warfare there for that 4th place. And Snell redresses it to Hayne in the end. As there was a lot of moves there off screen that just gonna actually try and pick them apart real quick. So of course we saw one for the lead. Eduardo Zamora, unfortunately, in an attempt to defend against Richard Brookfield, has made this error all by himself. He just overshoots. Gosner's a little lucky to get away with that one there. Then separate to that, Brett Barker with Hodgkinson and Guy Leach. That, though, might need the look of race control because Hodgkinson tried to hang on around the outside and nearly lost all his overlap, and then there's contact with Barker on the apex at turn 14A, which pushes, so he tries to hang on to it, then the door shuts. That one will be a little messy for race control to dissect as it pushes Barker off the road and back to 11th place across the line. And then separately again to all of that was some stuff further on. But here, let's look at the pass for the race win once again. So Snell up into the right rear corner behind the axle. So I respect, you have to say, I fully respect the move there, but it allows Braden Sagassa to do the over-under there through the roller coaster and take himself a race win here tonight. And so your order across the line, 0.8 of a second from Sagassa to Jeff Adams, 0.5 tenth then from Jeff to Richard King for the subpar racing duo to round off the podium. Adam Hayne then will be Next across the line, once we finally sort that one out there with Ben Snell for 5th place. Reece Gosler tried to close them back down, but will have to settle for a P6 in that one there after winning the sprint race to open off the night. Richard Brookfield in 7th. Stephen Lawrence for P8. Calvin Hodgkinson, P9 on the road, but I suspect there may be a penalty from the stewards that knocks him down the order a fraction, pardon me. And Guy Leach on the road will end up in 10th to wrap up that group there. Brett Barker gets back on track in 11th. Mark Heppel behind him recovers from the horror of race 1 to finish in 12th. Daniel Corriasar, 13th place. This time, not exactly under any contention there. He's the last of those cars, and that's the secondary pack. Then go back to John Baldwin in 15th, another 10 seconds behind Zamora. Dale Sharp in 16th. Then Brett Bradbury, 17th. Jordan Hansen for 18th. Lockie Purvis, 19th. Chris Bleakley dropping way out of the order, unfortunately, with some kind of incident, actually. Oh, hang on. This is saying here that he actually finished right behind John Baldwin on track in my overlays. I wonder if Bleakley's picked up a penalty at the end of this race.
Yeah, given that gap, probably has.
So Sharp, Bleakley, and Baldwin all got together at the roller coaster. Now, let's see if I can find out the answer. It wasn't incident points because he only had 7x. Must have got a slowdown somewhere. Oh, he was a little aggressive with the apex through the hog pen. Maybe picked up a slowdown there, but he doesn't try and clear it on the start-finish straight. So unfortunately, that one's a little bit of a mystery to me. But we've got 2 of our drivers who finished on the podium in races 1 and 2.
According to iRacing's official results, it's a penalty for illegally gaining position.
Illegally gaining position? Oh, interesting. I'm going to presume that's something to do with a slowdown penalty of the sorts, but I can't quite understand that one. I've not heard that one with that terminology used before. Nevertheless, let's have a quick chat whilst we've got some time.
Sorry. Gaining time illegally. So you must have cut track somewhere.
Gain time illegally.
So you either cut track or not served his slowdown in time.
Yeah, he definitely cut the track a bit through the hog pad. That should have given him a slowdown in that case. And I suspect that unfortunately has done him in. But we've got 2 drivers looking for a chat for us. We might start with the man who go chronologically and talk to the man who finished 2nd in race 1, which is Ben Snell, who's been waiting for a moment. So we'll bring him in and start tonight there, because he also qualified on pole position here tonight. And pretty good stuff out there, Ben. That opening race, of course, a good old-fashioned sprint and bullfight there. Obviously, that seems to be the slightly better part of the night in some respects. But at the end of the day, you're at the front of the field all night. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it was a good night. VIR is a fantastic track on these cars. They're wicked fun to drive around here, and yeah, the sprint race was pretty much, it was going to be what happened on the last lap was pretty much it. I just wanted to stay towards the front, but yeah, just got swapped a little bit there, and then the feature was less desirable. I missed my pit box, so I had to reverse back for the pit, and then came out about 3.5 seconds behind Braden, and then just tried to chase him down because I knew he was about the benchmark for the leaders. And then we ended up taking the lead towards the end there, and then unfortunately just got into I've forgotten his name now, but I got into Old Mate towards the end there at the end, and I just went, nah, I'm just gonna back off, let him have it. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, unlucky there with that duel with Adam Hayne in the very end of the feature race tonight, but nevertheless, it turns out you're on the right strategy. I will admit, when I saw Braden make that move, I thought I couldn't see it working out. I thought there'd be enough cohesion in the front pack to have the draft offset any benefit of just running free and being able to maximise your pace, but that clearly wasn't the answer tonight, because you caught up to him once you made your pit stop, and that worked out pretty nicely for you. So despite the fact that a little error there in the pit stop, you had enough time to recover from it.
Yeah, that's it. I saw Braden Pitt went, oh, that was probably a good choice because it was pretty feisty up the front. And then I tried to see if I could just break through to the lead of the pack and use the pace at the front to try and work along. But yeah, I went, nope, there's too much fighting here. So the smart move was definitely to get out and get some clear air. And even if it's just 1 or 2 cars, it's going to work a lot better than 4, 5, or 6.
Yeah, and yeah, so there's a lesson learned for any future tracks on the schedule that might happen to have a bit of drafting to worry about. And speaking of which, it won't be next week, because looking at what's going on next week, we stay in America, but from this lovely flowing hills here in Alton, Virginia, we go to the streets of Long Beach next time out. Same race format with this 2-race sprint device, but from pack racing here tonight, how much more do you think, or do you think I think we should still see some pack racing, but would you expect with such a change in track for Long Beach, we will actually see a bit of technical execution break things up a little bit?
Oh, Long Beach is a track of commitment and getting it right. So you got to be super precise because you need to be scraping the walls on every turn to maximise the pace in these. So yeah, I think they will still see groups, but I don't think it'll be as aggressive pack racing as we saw tonight.
Which certainly would be my expectation, but then again, I can only have to wait 7 days to find out if that's indeed the case. So just trying to think about how things went for you in the opening week of the season. Ben, if I can, I'll just pull up the results. Or, pardon me, didn't race last week. So
I can see you there. Yeah, I didn't race.
Yeah, apologies there. Getting your first laps in. So on that note, you're talking about your commitment in Long Beach. Expecting will we see you most weeks if you can make it, or it's going to be perhaps a bit more of a part-time availability thing for you?
The plan is I definitely want to try and get most of the weeks in here in the 8.6s. It just depends on my schedule and time. Between these and probably the Porsches is my main focus this season. So if I can get a few races in, I'll be pretty happy.
Well, sounds fantastic. We might have to leave it there for tonight, Ben, but thanks for chatting with us. Anyone you want to give thanks or shout-outs to while we've got you here in the broadcast box?
Just the usuals. Thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast. Mr. Maverick absolutely has been doing it for a long time, and he's really put the effort in. Of course, big shout out to the club as well for putting all this on. It gives us somewhere to go a race and hopefully die less than the officials.
Yeah, always good fingers crossed on the racing standards, because, well, pack racing, it can be a little fraught with risk, and it's not even the risk that you guys cause. It can just be sometimes out of even your hands. But thanks for that there, Ben. Well done tonight, and yeah, look forward to seeing what you can do next week and future rounds of the season.
Cheers, guys.
And the last driver who was in the green room, still is, we'll bring him in now, is the man who challenged for a win in race 1, had to set up a P5 there, but made it work in this second race with the early stop strategy. Ben Sagassa in the box with us now, and congrats on making it work, because I'm going to have to apologise in advance here and say that I thought you might have been condemning yourself to a risky strategy that might not work out, but turns out I had too much faith in the cohesion of the front runners in race 2, and you showed why pitting early was the right call.
Yeah, it was kind of a team decision. We thought it would be better off trying to stay out of the big draft pack, because we saw how much you could lose time in that first race. So we thought we could try and mix it up. Unfortunately, one of my teammates, Lockie, he didn't turn his pit speed limit off, or turned it off halfway through pit lane and sped through pit lane. But yeah, I'm glad the strategy worked out. Yeah,
it worked like a charm. Obviously, you still got caught by guys like Ben Snell and Adam Hayne there towards the end. So it was that 5-car group of you by the end of it. Turns out, it looks like 5 of you could work well enough. And I guess, how much would you say it matters that sort of, I guess, a mutual understanding between you guys in that early stop pack is that once you start forming up, you've just got to keep working together for as long as you can. You can take the gloves off at the end of the race, but if you want to make it work, then you've got to have that mutual understanding, even if it's not said explicitly in the server, to make the undercut strat work.
Oh, 100%. And there was a lot of smart blokes in that little battle pack. I did get a little bit worried when I think it was Ben and Adam going side by side before Reese pitted. But I think Reese had lost a little bit too much time in that first pack. And yeah, I'm just glad, we were able to work together enough to make a gap. And then, yeah, it was really fun at the end to just try and snag the win there.
Yeah, and it ticked off beautifully there for you because, certainly in P5 and race 1, nothing to really snuff out there, but you end up in that front pack all race long, but unfortunately it just didn't quite work out for you there. And thinking about the season ahead real quick, we'll hopefully keep seeing you at races. I can see, unfortunately, didn't get points for the opening round at Chicago with a not classified result, but hopefully better luck on the next street race being Long Beach next week is the goal.
Yeah, just I'll keep plugging at it, just I'll show up for the rest of the season and just hope to get the best result I can. Yeah, it looks like another sprint race as well, so we'll see if we can make the strategy work twice.
Yeah, whether people might have learned from you and you might have to do something a little different again. I guess it might be a case of every man for their own pit stop, perhaps, at Long Beach next time out. Well, we're going to have to leave it there, unfortunately, Braden, but thanks for joining us, and anyone you want to shout out or give thanks to, we've got you here in the booth.
100%, yeah. I just want to thank some of my family members for watching me, and also the 1-9 team for coming out in droves. They've been really supportive this season so far.
Well, there you have it. Braden Sagassa, our race 2 winner here tonight, and Ben Snell picking up second in race 1 as well as the pole position for the racing when it kicked off here tonight. Thanks, guys, for joining us. And yeah, as I said to you both, we'll hopefully see you both on track next week.
Thank you.
Well, that's going to do us for coverage here of the merch.GSRC.inc Toyota GR86 Challenge as part of our Supercar support schedule here this week. And actually, how about that there? Whilst I've been plugging the interviews there, I've given Adam just enough time to grab our race results from tonight to update the standings. And after winning and finishing 4th in tonight's race, it's enough for Adam Hayne to maintain a championship lead, actually extend it ever so slightly over Callan Hodgkinson there. So that's worked out pretty nicely there for him. The gap has gone up from 19 points to 27 is now the new margin from P1 to P2. Richard King jumps up to P3 right under Callan's nose there, which is pretty tight on points. And Dale Sharp to P4. Brett Barker and Richard Brookfield, big jumps, +8 and +10 respectively, to 5th and 6th. Joel Hansen, Lockie Purvis, Chris Bleakley also gaining spots to 7th, 8th and 9th in turn. Adam Lavis, unfortunately, thanks to not being able to race tonight, will be our first driver there on the standings order to drop down the results to hold on to 10th though, so certainly not a bad time for you there, Adam, and all being well, we'll get you back out on track in no time to resume your ability to participate here on a Wednesday night.
Oh yeah, well, we've obviously been discussing the background with you, trying to see whether we were more racing more Mondays or Wednesdays, but and obviously you, like, if you can race on Wednesdays as well, so yeah, we'll see what we can do with your work schedule and try and get us on the track when we can, because obviously being on the track is the fun part, and being doing the broadcast is a different type of fun, but also fun.
Yeah, I do apologise. I'm quite possibly the worst member of the commentary team to be part of here at the GSRC by virtue of being like, here's my schedule for this week, and then having to go, here's my schedule for next week, and keep doing it piece by piece.
Well, at least it's like most of the pattern is just a little bit here and there we've got to adjust for.
That's true. It does mean championships are might be a bit of a foregone conclusion, unfortunately, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it later on in the season. What we will do now is take a short break. Before we do, obviously say a big thanks to all of the club sponsors who have made the racing both here tonight and of course across all the nights of the week that it's offered on the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club possible. And we start with right here on screen, Trophi.AI, our sponsor of the upcoming Supercars series once again here tonight. Of course, big thanks go to the club sponsor, Destructive Lows, merch.TGSRCI.com. You can also support the club and get something for yourself in the process there too by doing so. Flash graphics for your iRacing liveries and some paints that are floating around and decals as well for various of our leagues that have branding, as well as things for Cars Up the Mountain Men. Disruptive Labs, our club season sponsor, as well as sponsoring various of our racing leagues on Thursday and Friday nights here this season once again. Waste Options, our supporter of Monday night racing at the GSRC, is the last of those I believe we need to give credit to.
And freshly renewed Waste Options. So thank you for John for coming back again and going for another round with us. Very much appreciated.
Much appreciated indeed. What we will do here, though, is a quick 5-minute break in the broadcast box, folks. Stick with us, though, because there's Trophi.AI Supercars racing green flag in just 10 minutes' time here from VIR for them as well. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Stick with us here for Wednesday night action at the GSRC. And folks, welcome back if you've been hanging around with us here, or a warm welcome if you're joining us here for the second half of Wednesday Night Motorsport with the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. Toyota is delivered in spades, and now it's time for the main event. Our Trophi.AI Supercar Series drivers take to the hills of Virginia International Raceway here in Alton, which has been a venue with plenty of fantastic history for racing in this complex in sports cars, in the real life, and for us here on the sim, many multitudes of categories as well. Welcome along to this one here tonight. My name is Riem, and I'm actually in the commentary slot for this one here, with Adam Lavis taking the production chair, as unfortunately we short the services of Zach Caben for this one here tonight, thanks to the fact that unfortunately racing happens in a multitude of places on iRacing everywhere all at once. Nevertheless, I'm sure hopefully I'll do my best to at least be a reasonable imitation of Mr. Caben in some respects, and Adam can certainly take care of pressing the buttons as good as me, if not better than me, in many respects. Qualifying is coming to a close as we speak. Drivers who were able to get across the line before the checkered flag came out do get the chance to finish the laps that they're currently on, and then we can roll our way into the full results and grid in just a moment's time. But much like the racing at Chicago, it looks like one James Scott is going to be the man to beat for sheer pace here tonight. It's a 40-minute format coming up, and well, how about that there for how things went with the Super Sprint format. 3 races there tonight, and the fact that wildly, there you go, P1 for James Scott, then P10 for him, and P2 in the third race, followed by a second, a ninth, and a first. And the variations in bonus points that were applied to those drivers across the course of the evening there shows it's a dead heat between the two AITX drivers from the opening round of the season. Mind you, unfortunately, Will not able to race this week, being away on various commitments. So it does mean he'll be taking drop rounds for next little bit, which will probably, unfortunately, knock him out of championship contention. But alas, it is what it is. So James Scott, it is wide open for him. And Sam Blacklock going to be the driver looking to challenge them the best that he can. Just 7 points behind. Tim Lachlan Capel actually is racing elsewhere tonight. Won't be able to back up what was P4 on points for the round. And then Adam Hayne, a top 5 on points with Ryan Jones right behind him. Tied for 7th between Luke Page and Sam Cullen. Blake Fitz and Trent Allen, your top 10 on points. And that is just the elite division of drivers we have here in this season. We do, of course, also have the development division, which is running at the same time on the same track, but for separate points. And Andy Barber absolutely stormed the class last time out there, so pretty close to maximum points taken by him. The only, I think, a couple of exceptions on that point. If I'm not mistaken, it would be fastest lap, perhaps, there, if I'm seeing that right. With
he missed 2 fast laps in the first 2 races. Other than that, he's got 0 X's in all the races, and got first, and got pole. So can't do much better than that. Just unfortunately, had 2 points on the table, but can't complain about that.
Certainly not. So tonight, single 40-minute race, 2 compulsory pit stops. We're looking at probably 22. We might still get 23 laps in after the pit stop cycle the cars down the lane and lose a bunch of time there to see how things work out. So confirming the qualifying results, James Scott, top of the time charts by a very healthy 0.7 of a second to Blake Fitz, who will share the front row with him there tonight. Sam Blacklock not quite able to pit Fitz for that time there. We'll have to settle for a 3rd place start with Jason Douglas, our defending Series Elite Division champion, alongside him for the second row. Johnny Bannack going to kick off out of P5 to make it 3 AITX cars here in a second, with Terry Marshfield alongside him for 6th. Sam Cullen to round out that trio in P7. Adam Hayne to be alongside him in 8th place. Luke Page for 9th. First of all, Whiskey Business cars here tonight, with Alex Seekers rounding out the top 10 here on row number 5 to make it also all elites in that top 10. We then have a dev row in the former Marcus Hankey and Travis Azzopardi. So they're your front two for the dev class. Cooper Cottrell, first race in this season, and if not for quite a while, if at all. We'll start from 13th. Next of our RTX cars, Andy Barber, after such strong results, is going to have to be 3rd in the class, 14th on the grid for the Gremlin Motorsports 020 there tonight. Nathan Michael, Martin Lipsky alongside him on the 8th row. Jeff Adams and Jackson Sufong. Jeff looking to do the double here tonight in terms of racing action out of 17th, and Sufong alongside him for 18th. Ross Armour and Hayden Watson going to round out the 20 here tonight, and then rapid fire. It's going to be Greg Heaney, JD Dent, Daniel Correa-Sarr, Richard King, Ryan Barber, Russell Gander, and Jake Cowman with qualifying times to make it 27 cars. And it looks like they're all there on the grid. It's time to bring the lights, time to bring the thunder. Trophi.AI Supercars action from VIR is underway here for 40 minutes. And that's a clean start at the front of the field here. Looks like it's going to be the top 4 more or less sticking to their order. But watch out for Jace Douglas outside run the T1. Though is going to be parked up high and wide and possibly lose a spot to Banak on the exit of turn 1. He will indeed, and Blacklock up the inside of Blake Fitz. Inside line working well for 1, 3 and 5. They're now 1, 2, 4 in this order as they work into NASCAR bend for the first time. A little bit more side by side further on back as Blacklock on the inside of Scott Agro's move here. Doesn't have the outright quality pace. Tries for the outside, slides the rears through the exit of the left hook. And can't quite make the move work. Andy Barber's just took his wheels off the road in the mid-pack. He's dropping down to 17th now. It's a rough start for the driver who comfortably rolled things away. He's back. Tag from Jace Douglas. He tried to shut him down, but Douglas was there. Very lucky. Both cars walk away alive and in one piece. As up to the South Bend for the first time we go, fellas, and I'm seeing a lot of twitching and snapping as they're trying to put their power down. They're going to be careful. Yes, there's 2 CPS. Hayne up the inside of Sam Cullen if he can make the move stick, but he's going to be tight on the apex of the oak tree, and Cullen will protect the place here as we try and get this point here. There you go. Good to see Will Buchanan. Whilst he can't make it to the racetrack, unfortunately can tune in a little bit here tonight, letting us know that indeed Cottrell first time with the clubs. There you go. It explains that one there as Douglas up the inside of Banak as we get to the roller coaster. All good, but contact between Terry Marsh and Adam Hayne. Further on back in the roller coaster puts Hayne off the road and he'll drop down into the mid-teens. Marsh will redress as well. Puts himself back in 18th place, possibly 19th, as the rejoin for Hayne has him alongside Jeff Adams and Jackson Sufong here. And now trying to get his rhythm back in check, which is going to take a little bit here tonight as these dev drivers are racing themselves for position. And they're going as Sufong into the spine of Hayne, who hangs onto it, pushed into the grass at full speed. Talk about a rough start to your night for Adam Hayne there, but holds onto it, and then he's trying to get back on Sufong. Has to be careful as we come up into turn 3 here on lap number 2. And possibly a bit of Morse code in the door and bumper there, but he's not racing these guys. Remember, that's the kind of the thing you've got to try to be mindful here. Both ways. You've got to drive in the other class. As if it doesn't mess up your position, if you're in a class battle of your own, it might just help to let that driver go. And you can focus on your race with your class contenders. And that other driver who's trying to get up the road to his own class competitors can be unshackled. This is a good example. There you go through the South Bend. Hayne, much better run than Sufong. He's going to dive up the inside as we approach the oak tree. And there's no contest initially. Sufong is for the over-under. Just holds Hayne up a tiny bit high as a result through that next proper. That's going to mean that watching out for a possible repass attempt at the roller coaster. Again, we'll see. He moves out to the inside here, does Sufong. Gets on the brakes earlier than Hayne, though, on the second lap of the race. So, oh no, Terry Marsh has had a bit of trouble there, and he's speared to the side of Hayden Watson. So there's the second of our 104 Motorsport entries flying off the road there, unfortunately. And then Sufong, big drift, has ended up off the road. There's cars left, right and centre having a bit of a rough time of it here tonight as we head back up the order to Johnny Bannack and Sam Cohen, 5 and 6 for AITXs. Oh, speaking of AITX, I've just seen Cooper Cottrell have a moment on the start finish straight, then run wide at turn 1 and dip wheels in the dirt. Back to B12 for him in the 48 machine. Adam, I'll sort of introduce you in, of course, to the discussion here tonight proper, but it looks like to me the drivers here, obviously a very different situation with these kinds of cars. A lot of power, not enough grip, unlike the 86s, but also conditions maybe a touch warmer again in those 86s, so even less grip as well.
It'll be a track temperature 36, slightly warmer, not too much warmer, but yeah, these big beasts, they're already low grip as they are, and plenty of horsepower. And with all these undulations and all around these corners, it's definitely going to unweight the car and send the wheels spinning if you're too greedy with that throttle.
Yeah, it's very easy to do that. I've just saw JD Dents grab the grass on the run up towards the oak tree, loses only a single spot for it, but he'll now have those super scorched rear tyres as Corey Sarp looks to get up the inside of him there in this lovely retro-inspired catchbook racing design. Maybe unfortunately, I can't actually place the year that belongs on a
I think it's
Larry Perkins.
Well, I think it'd be the late 90s ones, but I think it's also possibly the retro one, similar to what you used last year at the Sandown.
Yeah, well, I can see it's actually got the Legacy 7 Sport logo, a 2E's, probably Bathurst 1000, like that entry decal there on the door above the car number. So, a couple of things there which are all of interest, perhaps, and dissection. There's a couple of drivers peeling into the pits already. Actually, first one is Terry Marsh. Going to get one of his compulsory stops done very early here tonight, at just 6 minutes into the race. Oh, pardon me, one compulsory stop. Okay, that's quite the gambit then in that case, to be doing that stop so early. Yeah, apologies, if I remember correctly, it's 2 stops on the 60-minute format, which we only see a handful of times. There's Martin Lipsky alongside Hayden Watson at turn 1. And oh, how low. The 0.5 of Ryan Barber comes into the gap. And Lipsky has to get out of the way. He'll be run over. He's still kind of run over in the process. Replay here of unfortunately Terry Marsh and Adam Payne back on lap 1. Just a little deep under brakes into the roller coaster. And yeah, it sends both drivers tumbling down the order as a result. As well as scorching their tyres. Measure as well. And then a second incident here with Hayden Watson on lap 2. Terry, unfortunately, near carbon copy goes in, gets the angle wrong. Unfortunately, there, massive slam in the door. Both him and Watson. So, not been a kind race in some respects out there tonight. There's Cooper Cottrell. Go back to a replay of him. And I think, unfortunately, due to his connect, we're going to get a couple of misfires there, perhaps.
Black on wide.
And there you go. Blake Fitz going to reclaim second place as we come back live to the start of lap 5 in this race. And they were close together on the road. And looks like that's going to be answered there pretty swiftly by Fitz. They are being absolutely dropped by one James Scott. No massive surprise based on the qualifying pace being 7/10 in a single lap. And Malcolm Fitz so close on pace and Quali to it. Despite the fact that this is probably going to be a race for second here tonight. Not to take away from these two guys, but unless they've got something special left in the race setup, which is going to somehow come out alive later on in the session. This is starting to paint a pretty clear picture already. Catch him if you can, fellas. And Jace Douglas, don't count him out there, just a second off the back of Blackrock's rear bumper too. So podium positions, minor placings, if you will, are still very much alive and up for grabs. But until then, we can only wait and see what this race is going to bring us. Because, yeah, that pit stop, when you take it, can you make undercut to effect. That's probably going to be the case here, I can say from experience, having raced this car on track combination, mind you, on a fixed car setup, and the restrictions therein. It's definitely a case of find a pocket, clean air, get a pit stop done. As Sufong is having a real rough time of it here, way wide down the exit of the roller coaster, comes back on track alongside Collier Star, tries to hang on to the spot by firing it into the hog pen, and he will hang on to it as a result. And he does keep it steady on the exit. Puts Collier Star back in the punching spot. One with Nick. Do the double race. Uses the front end grip on the kick through turn. It has to actually lift out of the throttle partially there to get his car through that bend. That's deceptive in a car like this. I'm not sure if you've driven around here recently with the Supercar, or if at one point you've done some early practice and thinking you might have driven tonight before we had to make everything switch for this week. But you have to be very committed to that kink at the start to be able to make it turn one flat out.
Yeah, it's one of the things with the Supercar. I think like the current build is pretty much like original spec Supercars with a lot of understeer with their reduced aero. But we've seen in the real life that they've got a bit of that handling back in. So things like the chase, they could get pretty close to flat, if not flat, which is not quite possible in the sim yet. But yeah, so those fast kicks at the moment, it's understeer city in the big burly V8 Supercars, so you've got to be very careful on how you weight the car by using your throttle and just getting on and off at the right times and getting that weight in the right spot to get that nose turned.
I'll check in with leaders of the dev class racing. Travis Hardy is the man actually who leads the class, with Marcus Hankey though right with him, and Adam Hayne back to P11, having recovered to this point so far. As a party, also serving as the race control monitor for tonight. So he's busy there. As there you go, Hayne up the inside. So we just cut back to Ross Armour, a little slow through the hog pen, might have dived off the road. But Adam Hayne here trying to recover, and if he can get through and as a party, it's us back to an all-elite division top 9, which will reset the situation for him there. Still a long ways behind, of course, but at least he'd then be in a position to try and chase down and race with his class competitors. Next of our battles on track, Jeff Adams, 13th, is directly racing Andy Barber for class positions. Also got Cooper Cottrell there when he's still present on the circuit. Mind you, unfortunately, connection for Cottrell's been a little spotty tonight, so may see him drop in and out a couple of times, and based on this pace, looks like he'll be a solid addition to the dev division in these races going forward. So I say he's technically not racing them for points, but it's a pretty assured outcome here, although Scott Barber lining him up down the Madison Avenue here right now, and to the inside for the start of the roller coaster. The problem is here, try to find your braking marker to outbrake somebody who you can't even see. Unfortunately for Cottrell, braking at the roller coaster to try and hold on to that spot, and he'll drop back to 16th outright, which is something in the order of, well, minus the top 9. Can I do the math? That's also P7 in class. As Adam Hayne is through as a party, as we go back up to have a look at Blake Fitz, Sam Blacklock and Jason Douglas is now very much in this fight here. So this is the elite divisions racing competition on track that we've got to observe here for now. The other drivers in the split are a little more spread through the top 9 at this stage. As up this has become the front of these supercars, you can see it lifting off the ground, making getting the car to rotate through those S's a little bit of a handful, to say the least. And there you go, trying to get it up over South Bend, use all the track. Fits perhaps a little bit more than the racing surface, which the car can let you get away with here. And then getting your power on at the Oak Tree corner, and it looks like that's worked out nicely for Fitz, as he ends up getting just enough of a margin here. He should be pretty safe. And Black on 4 tenths, 3 tenths of a second. It's still much too far back. Likewise, Jace Douglas is going to have to ride in line. He's up to the roller coaster, but Fitz, unforced error, goes deep. Blacklock looks for the possible over-under, but it also just checks everyone up, settling the car, preserving the car perhaps. Maybe a run down the start-finish straight could be in order, but you see here, Adam, as you see all the micro movements of the wheel, whilst trying to get the power down, you can hear the rear tyres so limited for traction in these supercars that are placed here like VAR.
Yeah, one of the things the V8 Supercar has never liked is turning and accelerating at the same time, and that's pretty much the whole track here at VAR. So it's very much a juggling act to get it to work for you.
Fitz wide in through turn 1, Blacklock though doesn't really go for the move. He's just trying to find, he's just probing for a bigger weakness perhaps. Gets a touch though from Douglas up into the left hook. That nearly sends him into the rear of Fitz. He just checks it up in time to avoid it. It's going to break his momentum here into the snake, and Fitz gets a reprieve as a result of that one there. We're going to have to reset and do that fight again if they can close back up. Force goes from Fitz to Jesse. He probably will close back up. Douglas just caught out there by the momentum shift, it seems, in that battle for the last couple of turns. But we'll wait on it for a moment just to see how things go. And Adam Hayne was ahead of Azzopardi outright at some point, has fallen behind though once again, and we'll have to get back past. We'll go up the inside into the Oak Tree corner. So this is
legitimate passing.
Okay, so Hayne up the inside. Oh, he locks it up at turn 1. So Azzopardi over-unders him. Yes, he does. There you go. That answers that one there. So indeed, the pass was made, but then the pass was undone. Now, Hayne has got through. Whilst we went to the replay, Hayne has gotten through at the Oak Tree corner, but Azzopardi's coming back at him. Side by side, locking up for Hayne. Has he got the car stopped? He'll stay on the racetrack, and he actually will get it just pulled up through the roller coaster corner to at least guard himself. So he's finally free of all the dev drivers per se. The question is, can he break away now? And then he has 3 seconds to Alex Sickers. He's going to find another 2 seconds to Luke Page. There'll have to be another 2 seconds up to Johnny Banach. And now leaves Marcus Hankey open road to go after the dev class lead here into turn 1 on Azzopardi. And he'll get there and a little deep to prevent Azzopardi from getting an over-under or a run around the outside. So new dev class leader in this race, Marcus Hankey here at the start of lap number 10. Now we'll see, I would expect if Hankey and Azzopardi go at it, those two drivers locking horns will mean that that'll give Adam Hayne the breathing room he needs to go fully eyes forward. We are coming up on the halfway point in this race. Just wondering if we're going to see drivers commit to perhaps a pit stop in the next lap or two, go for that undercut. Is there a gap though on the track? By a look at the circuit map, I'm going to be saying I don't think any of our front runners who would want to maybe look for the undercut are going to have clear road.
There's very limited gaps. But yeah, it's going to be whether they can actually make use of that. Because obviously with the V8 Supercars, tyre deggy is big. So you're going to have fresh tyres and great grip for about 2 laps after you stop. The thing is, you're going to need that track position and the clear track to maximise. So if you come out behind people, you can't get it done. You're just burning up that good grip life.
And the other part of the situation is, of course, the fact that in these kinds of conditions, you're only going to get like a lap or a couple of laps tops of benefit. With a high load circuit plus temperature, it's going to make it like if you don't have a gap that you can work with, you're going to be on struggle street pretty quickly there. As Blacklock has rejoined the bumper of Fitz. He was almost on the pace of James Scott. But the gap is now 11 seconds. And how about that there at the NASCAR? Ben Fitz, another unforced error. Can't get the car to pull up in that right-hand turn, and Blacklock is back through to P2 after what's been the grid order for quite a few laps now. They're all still together though, so they can certainly turn around. There's just enough slipstream in these cars, and the straight just long enough that a good exit off of the Oak Tree Bend will allow Fitz to have a crack at Blacklock if he so chooses. But now we're about to watching car positioning and the setup around this circuit. As old here, JD Dent is in the wall. Notice he's just thrown back to the pit lane. Unfortunately, bad to worse for the driver of the 171. Thankfully, all by his lonesome, but coming up here, it's in too deep, it's in too deep. And it's ruined the left front corner, plus the engine has been lunched as well in the process there. So, not a good day to be JD Dent, it seems, here at VIR. To the pit lane he has had to go. Back live with as a party here, as he's working to keep with Marcus Hankey. Margin is still within half a second, 3.5 tenths that is, to be precise, as they come on down towards the roller coaster here on this 11th lap. And there has been a bit of action. Jace Douglas, your first driver from the lead of the field to crack to the pit lane, as we just pick up Danny Corrier off the road on the exit of the Oak Tree turn. And going to have to see here on his own another unforced error. So it looks good on the entry. Low. And then too much power. Or to the right and to the left here, Adam. Hopefully he's away from the fences, but nevertheless, going to lose some 2 spots and a good dose of time there. Let's watch for Jace Douglas here. This is critical. Right on the back of Blacklock and Fitz when he came into the pit lane. Is he going to come out in clean air? The biggest problem I'm seeing is he's going to get out, but Sufong and Armour both going to swing past him. And that is exactly the problem. If he comes out, and he's now got 2 cars he has to immediately pass.
If he came out just in front of Sufong, that would have been perfect. He's got past Armour pretty well. And it's just going to be a matter of whether Sufong's going to play the game. We saw him earlier. He was really keen to battle against Adam Payne, and even though it was different classes. So now it's going to be Jace Douglas's turn to find out how wide Sufong can make his Camaro.
Of course, have the pace advantage that was demonstrated through qualifying, as well as now the tyre pace offset to assist with that. But this is the risk you take, and this also might be important because one of the things I heard from Blacklock when he was just keeping with Fitz, he wasn't committed to a full-scale attack at the time. He was just a little conservative, lifting and a bit of coasting in the car, maybe trying to eke out a little bit of fuel saving as up the inside towards the Oak Tree we will go. And Douglas gets the job done, but yes, Sufong was certainly trying to keep his pace up and was just brushing the left rear corner of the JMR Camaro. But as far as the laps go, that one was pretty good there. Blacklock and Fitz respond a lap later. They know now, based on that, they've got to get in here, get their stop done, and get clear. Now, the biggest problem is that Douglas is coming up on Greg Heaney, Ryan Barber as well, unless those 2 cars pit, in which case they're in a nice, healthy gap, although there's a host of cars into the pit lane here on lap 12. Scott, Cullen, Hayne, the only drivers to stay out. And in fact, there we go. The road is clear for Jace Douglas. Will it be clear for Blacklock and Fitz? Where have they come out? In fact, there you go. The overcut works beautifully for both Blacklock and Fitz. And part of the answer there is 5 seconds or 4 seconds less fuel. A massive fuel difference. Now, the question is, and looking at the numbers I'm seeing, Johnny Banach's about the same. There's even less fuel than Blacklock and Fitz. Luke Page is on the same fuel as Blake Fitz. I'm going to have to say it here. There's been a big error from Jace Douglas, it looks like, when it comes to the fuel strategy, and so he should have actually been well clear of traffic.
The only other person even close is Nathan Marker with 14 seconds of fuel rather than... Oh, and also Marcus Hankey's really... So Marcus Hankey's in the dev splits, thrown away a bunch of spots with a 17-second stop.
Oh, yeah, big design. Yeah, he's lost nearly 5 seconds to as a party who he was in front of for class leadership. So, yeah, a couple of drivers there, overfilling it seems. We'll see if they can make it back. He's close to Nathan Michael, but then you can see it. He's got 5 seconds to make up to as a party in all of this here. So that might just be a bit of a free kick as a party is gained in this one. Sam Cullen comes to the pit lane at the end of lap 12, or lap 13, sorry. But James Scott going longer again, and Adam Hayne is next on the road. We're waiting to see. He will hit the pit lane here as well on lap 13. It's now just Jackson Suffolk, Lipsky, Russell Gander, and Jake Cowman, the only other drivers who have yet to stop in this race. You can see it there, of course, on our pit stop tower. Once again, keeps the road clear for drivers like Blackrock and Fitz as they'll turn back to second and third. And Douglas will clear those pitting drivers as well. So top four back in the order that they were in pre-pit stops. Although, of course, there is a gap that needs pit stop reckoning for James Scott to readjust to the situation here, of course. And in fact, with those front runners or long runners in the dev class now in the lane, Russell Gander, Jake Cowman, are they coming to the pits here? Cowman is. Gander has not. So it's now just James Scott and Russell Gander who are going to go long here in this one so far. Meanwhile, class battling still in right behind Russell, speaking of. Greg Heaney trying to hang on to this place from Jackson Sufong. Both have just come out of the pit lane and then tagged from Ryan Barber. Going to tip Sufong around into a spin. Oh, and he rejoins into the path of Ross Armour. And that has put a solid dent in the side of the 104 Motorsports Camaro. Catch this one here once again. And for Ryan Barber, that's not look too great. But then, yeah, Sufong starts the rejoin right as Armour's coming into the corner. And while Sufong will have claimed a stake against Barber, he then has a case to answer for when it comes to Armour here. You can see, oh, it's just cruel there because the gap is on the left-hand side of the road. Of course, Ross is going to try and stick to the apex there. Unfortunately, that's just the moment that Jackson tries to get his car pointing back in the right direction. So more damage to both of those cars. As in the meantime, James Scott into the pit lane, back out. Margin has shrunk, thanks to, of course, the benefits of the undercut. But it is still nigh on 10 seconds for man in the 088 at the lead of this field as we are inside, approaching 13 minutes to go, I should say now, in this race. On lap 15 of an estimated 23 still on the cars, actually. So despite the pit stops meant to be slowing things down for a couple of laps, it's not enough, it seems, to chop away the extra lap here tonight. Greg Heaney now racing with Ryan Barber up behind Russell Gander as Barber will get up the inside of the Northwind Mustang into turn one, but the over-under attempt from Gander parks everyone up a little bit on the corner exit there as Heaney also looking for a way through there in the process.
So Gander still hasn't stopped yet. He's also his first race in the supercars. So clearly he's learning, well, he hasn't learned yet, but tyres are the issue in supercars more than fuel. So he's currently got no grip.
Yeah, and a big lock up there for him. That'll pinch things up as well. Put more heat, more wear through the tyre. And it's not looking particularly peachy out there for him. He'll probably want to get that pit stop done so he doesn't lose. As you try and run long, yes, there's a benefit to having an overcut differential. I'm sure there's some benefit for it here at VIR, but passing can be really tough. And there is a point where you will just run the tyre well beyond its usable overcut life, and you bleed too much time trying to get your overcut into a position where it's going to give you a big benefit once you're on the fresh set of tyres. So we'll wait to see where he pops out. It's looking likely, though, if he does pit, he'll be out down with Terry Marshall, which is right to the back of the lead lap at this stage. We'll talk about that more when the pit stop comes around. Back to the battle for second dev class. Nathan Michael holds it for the moment. Marcus Hankey got close and had a bit of a rub at it when they got into the roller coaster there at the end of lap 15. He'll show the nose into turn one, but he's not able to really dive up the inside here. Its tyres will already be feeling the pinch, and he's got to worry about Andy Barber there Your round one winner who's going to get the overrun into NASCAR bend. Shows the nose, forces Hanky to leave with cars within the apex there to preserve his own car. And it should be job done, although then he forces Barber to throw it out wide into the snake here. Side by side, Nathan Michael says, thank you very much, fellas. I will happily take a good 2 seconds nearly of time advantage. Just a couple of corners there. Back and forth there between those two, and all of a sudden the margin blows out. Here's Jackson Sufong, Ross Armour. Once again, another replay. This looks like Sufong is in too hot. He's going to weigh him on the roller coaster. In fact, he can't even help himself but make the meeting with the tyre bundle there in the grass. Rough night of it there for Sufong. And also mechanical black flag in the process with the damage he picks up from that hit with the wall. So he's back on the tow rope to pit lane. Certainly not what he would like to see. As go back live to Blacklock and Fitz as they come up across the start-finish line to start lap 17. They have been absolutely hammered on lap time. A 147.6. And the best Sam and Blake have done there on that last lap were 50.3 and 50.0. This is a bloodbath when it comes to one lap pace here at VIR at the front of the field. So definitely feeling the squeeze. And this is the benefit, if you can have it, the overcut where, hey, you start pumping out your fast laps that little bit later than the guys you're racing. And really rub the salt into the wounds there, Adam.
Yeah, definitely is. If you can get that gap early, it is definitely a benefit. If you can get the gap and then time your pit stop to still come out in front with the tyre advantage, you're just going to blast off into the sunset with the tyre advantage that these cars get. It's all about maintaining that grip and keeping the tyres cool and under you.
Speaking of, Scott's just passing by Russell Gander, who has just taken that pit stop finally, so that all perspective.
Russell right now be like, oh my God, this car handles well now.
Yeah, it will. He is indeed now the last car. Well, he was the last car on the lap. He is now the first car a lap down. As eyes on Adam Hayne here, as he's caught up to and going to be allowed to pass Alex Sigas with no contest whatsoever from the JMR Mustang. It's an interesting little tale there that needs to be said, because Sigas should be good on fuel. He's comparative on fuel to all of our front runners. Adam Hayne overfilled the car, it seems slightly, but looks like perhaps this is Sigas looking to be latch on if he can, be given a bit of a express draft up to Luke Page. He's going to go to Martin Lipsky on the run to turn number one. Lipsky was near Jeff Adams, I think that is. As, oh dear, Martin. Oh no. Now, is that just a massive miscalculation of the braking zone, or is there something more to that one there?
I think he's realised he's broken late, and he's basically taking avoiding action to not take Jeff out. He's got the throttle there.
Little throttle. Actually, there, the little gas up to make sure he didn't end up.
He sacrificed himself.
Yeah, in Jeff's door. Unfortunate, but a well executed manoeuvre there. Back live with Eddie Barber, Marcus Hankey. They're closing back in slowly on Nathan Michael, but the gap is still about. Well, it was 1.4 from Barber to Michael, so back up to 1.8 as he runs wide through NASCAR Bend at turn 3. These guys are steady-ish with as a party. In fact, on that last lap, Hanky and Barber did make up some good time to the 818 machine, but they're going to have to recatch and repass Michael first, of course. And then they're only going to have about 6 minutes to be able to have a crack at chasing down the class leads. So it's really looking like that it is going to be a battle for second in the class, much like in the elite split. Is Sam Cullen catching Jace Douglas on the last lap that they completed? Not quite. Douglas was a fraction faster than Sam Cullen, 49.7 to a 42 versus 49.812. As Nathan Michael, was something you were trying to show me there, pardon?
I think
Back alive.
I think iRace has finally given Hayden the connection penalty.
Possibly, but I'm not seeing it in the chat thread.
Oh, does he just?
in the server messages, which is normally it should come up.
All right, because you got to jump the pits without even coming to a stop.
Yeah, interesting there. Okay. Well, unfortunately, Jackson Suffolk's had more trouble out there tonight, but here with this fight for second of our elite drivers here. As we ride over the hill here into the Oak Tree turn once more. Really crank the steering on and get a clean exit. Now, there's been a bit of conversation in the broadcast shed about what's to go between Douglas and Jason Cullen. The gap is currently about 1.5 seconds on the last lap. First Douglas 150.235, Cullen a 149.814. So it was pretty similar lap before that, where they were both doing 49s. But on that last lap, 4/10 differential in favour of Cullen. Let's actually have a look at it here. 13 to 18, the gap has steadily worked down. We have a 2-lap difference in tyre life in favour of Sam Cullen. So those are some of the numbers we're working with here. We'll see if we get an update on that gap. Here, it's still at about 1.6. .807, plays at 49.889 last lap. So there are laps where they're even, there are laps where they are not. And there may be just enough laps left with that kind of on and off gains and hold ground to himself, as unfortunately for Jackson Sufong, a bit too early on the downshifts, it seems, into the roller coaster, and that is why his car has towed back to pits on a mechanical black flag. Back live as Fitz is trying to crank up the pressure on Blacklock for the 7th place here tonight. When they get to the line, James Scott's going to bring us to 2 laps to go. Actually will put us at indeed a 22-lap race. So looks like that pit stop cycle is enough just in that position, because Blacklock players have been confident in it being a 23-lap race this entire time. But at this point in the race, it's undeniable, as coming up on 3 minutes to go, we aren't going to suddenly be doing less than 1 minute 30s in these conditions. So into the hog pen here for Blacklock and Fitz. Watching here to see who's got the grip.
Fitz does look like he's got a little bit rotation. Yeah, Fitz looked like he had a bit more rotation and grip for that final sector there. So maybe he's just looked under his tyres a little bit better, and maybe he's got a chance here on the outside.
Go a long way around at turn number 1. Blacklock tries to park it up, but he can't. Inside is exposed to Fitz, although Blacklock then keeps it pinched pretty much right on a car's width, and that will cover to the inside of turn 2 at least. Here we go, Fitz run a range up on right rear corner of Mustang. Can't get there though for turn 3, so we'll have to reset and try again after we get through the left hook and the snake here up to the back of the circuit. Good to see them both trying to straighten up the run out of this part of the circuit. That lovely little extension there to allow the drivers to really have it straight on the last part of the track. Let's get up through the S as we come. And yeah, Fitzy looks, he's got the car just carrying a lot more momentum into certain corners on this track, which is obviously working nicely in his favour. Up into the Oak Tree turn. Yeah, he's right on the bumper. And at that position there, as long as he gets an even launch out of the Oak Tree turn, he's going to have just a little trickle of draft on his side as he makes his way down Madison Avenue, potentially set up a move here at the roller coaster. On this time of calling it though, it's ended up with him not making a big dive and not able to position himself to be in that place to do so. So, P2, P3 stay as they were. And same in the devs were here. P2, P3. Trying to also pass by Jake Cowman. So a bit of traffic to worry about in this situation. But as these guys come down the Madison Avenue, James Scott's already up to turn 4, having seen the white flag. Fitz and Blacklock are approaching turn 1 as we speak. So we're going to have our eyes pressed to watch as many of the battles as we can here. Hanky getting awfully close now to the back bumper of Michael at the roller coaster. And then Michael a little wide in the exit there. Has to snap the car down, and he can't quite get the thing in position the way he wants. But then Hanky's a little deep through the hog pen. It's going to give Michael the breathing room to turn 1, I think, that he'll be looking for when he sees this white flag to confirm we're on for a 22-lap race and has just 5 kilometers of racing left to do to hang on to the second place in class position here. It's back to the second place battle between Blacklock and Fitz in our dev and our elite positions and outright, of course, in this race to the South Bend. And Blacklock slow, trying to really push himself into a strong position for the run up to the Oak Tree turn, but Fitz hasn't really lost a ton of time here as he comes onto the Oak Tree corner. We'll come back to them in a couple of moments though, folks, because we've barely looked at this man on the screen, and whilst it's perhaps a little cruel to put it that way, it's for good reason. He has once again on qualifying pace and now in race trim been untouchable here at Virginia. James Scott will make another race win. He's here for round 2 to seal the deal in the second week of racing for the Trophi.AI Supercar Series. Blacklock and Fitz side by side out of the roller coaster. Here we go. Fitz drives it into the hog pen. Blacklock tries to set up for the exit, and he'll get to the inside on the exit of the hog pen. Drag race is beckoning. Drift out of the corner here. Here we go. There is nothing in it. They bump doors. Fitz a nose ahead. Inside for Blacklock. Can he cut back? Oh, I think he might have just got it with the shorter run on the inside. The margin at the line has gone to Blacklock. 0.05 across the line. What a run there you go. We'll look forward to watching that one back if we can after the races. Nathan Michael has his own little run from the hog pen to the start-finish line to make, and he'll be able to cover off second place in the class. Just ahead of them, Travis Party will take the Dev Division win here with a P10 overall. Your lead home teammate Nathan Michael to second place. Marcus Hankey, Andy Barber, your top 4 in the Devs there tonight as well. Have a look at this pass attempt from Fitz, the mother of all dives, respected by Blacklock in a bit of self-preservation there, and then just enough grip from Fitz, and he's on, and yep, so tried to shut the door to Blacklock a little bit there, gets the elbows out, and then you're going to have to watch this one up to the line, folks, because it was hammer and tongs all the way. Fitz had it here, and it was looking like he might have just been able to do it, but right here, that kink, that was enough. The shorter run for Blacklock. He edges out Blake Fitz by 5/1000ths of a second as a result of being on the right side of the road. Literally and metaphorically here, Adam.
I think that's a better view. Yeah, so there's a slightly longer run. It's just cost Fitz by mere inches.
Well, there you have it. We'll put the results up on screen. It ends up being 23.7 seconds with the pace of James Scott just absolutely ballistic tonight and relentless. As Sam Blacklock there, 0.004 according to SDK's results. So it puts it somewhere between 0.005 seconds and 0.004 seconds, the official margin across the line. That, in these cars, is truly nothing, as we saw there on screen. Chase Douglas, after unfortunately seemingly taking a little bit too much fuel on that race, will have to settle for 4th place after being in that scrap at the start of it. He was being tracked by Sam Cullen, but holds on by 1.6 seconds there for Cullen to have to settle for P5. Johnny Baddock behind him in P6. About 9 seconds odd back. You then got Luke Page for Whiskey Business, Adam Hayne in P8, and Alex Seekers P9. Actually, how about that there? Page and Hayne, we almost need to have a look at that one almost, and how close that might have gotten there, because that's within a tenth of a second. It's obviously a little bigger. That's definitely, it was a drag race to the line there between Luke and Adam. Seekers P9 to round out the row, or the string of elite drivers here tonight, and then it was P10 for Travis as a party there in the the first of our dev cars tonight. As we're going to pick up Luke Page here. Thank you, Adam. We'll roll back to pick up the end of the lap. So there's Blacklock and Fitz. We might be able to go from here, and then we'll jump to Page and Hayne. So here we go. Adam Hayne had been trying to track down drivers throughout the race here tonight. And this is going to have to be close on the run out of the turn, because we're actually going to, is this what less than a tenth of a second actually looks like? You can actually be on the bumper. You can indeed. So, okay, my apologies. I thought this was actually going to be closer than I thought, but just at the speeds they're going, less than a tenth of a second between Page crossing the line and Adam Hayne right on his tail doing the same there. So Nathan Michael, we saw there holding on to second place in Dev. It ends up 11th on the road tonight. Marcus Hankey just behind him in 12th here tonight. And it was Andy Barber 13th. Cooper Cottrell will join the Devs with that performance tonight in 14th place. Ryan Barber is 15th and P6 on the road at this stage. Greg Heaney 16th and P7. Also heard him saying he did actually work on and was able to achieve the 0x bonus tonight. So he's pretty happy with himself for that. Second ahead of Richard King in 17th. Then Corey Assar back in 18th place tonight. And then Terry Marsh, our elite driver, who was out of shape and out of place and unable to recover from an early mistake, has to settle for a 19th place finish there. Jeff Adams, the last car on the lead lap, in 20th. And drivers finishing the race a lap down: Ross Armour, Russell Gander, Jake Cowman, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, respectively for those drivers. Hayden Watson finishing 2 laps down in 24th, and then I believe our retirements 6 laps down from Martin Lipscomb and Jackson Sufong there, and JD Dent 27th and 13 laps shy of the finish. So in fact, those bottom 3 cars, all 3 of them might not be classified as a result due to the percentage requirements when it comes to the racing here tonight. Well, we've got our podium waiting for us from the the elite split, so we will quickly bring them all in. In fact, we might even just bring all 3 of them in and perhaps bounce off all of them here tonight. So we'll welcome James, Sam and Blake together at once. Now, I guess I kind of want to start, actually, Blake, Sam, with you tonight. Obviously, you didn't have the pace for James. Qualifying and race trim, just an absolute weapon of a car tonight for him and the driver behind the wheel, of course. But Sam, Blake, I guess I can both see you guys were quite happy with the way that race finished. Yeah, what was the feeling like there, taking that all the way from the roller coaster to the start-finish line? I guess we'll start with you, Sam, coming home in second.
Yeah, one of the best finishes I've had in this series for I wouldn't even say a long time. I'd say probably ever. Yeah, the lead changed, 3 times or something. So, yeah, saving fuel, trying to get home, and Blake was pretty onto it. Bombed me down the outside at the end of the back straight, and as soon as I saw him go for it, I was like, I might be in trouble here. And on those numbers, I was probably just gonna make it. I think I probably was gonna. At the time, I thought I was gonna cut out just before the line, and then the worst scenario for that is then we end up side by side over the line, or coming to the line, and I was waiting for the car to cut and me to lose that minuscule margin I had. So, yeah, awesome race. Bit of contact, but all good, hard racing, and yeah, that was bloody awesome.
So, okay, fuel's a little bit of a tight one for you. Blake, I don't think you were just similar on pit stop, obviously, to stick together always, but were you in at any risk of being tight on fuel tonight, or perhaps a little bit less of a concern for you to the finish?
No, I I might have been overthinking it. I thought James might have been playing games, like with the fuel lap count. It was very close to being extra lap as we were pitting, so I sort of almost took a full extra lap of fuel because it's like my tyres nearly covered it. I was saving behind Sam at the start, and then, yeah, that didn't really come to fruition.
Well, yeah, great to hear in that case. I mean, yeah, both of you in that case, trying to obviously trim down your fuel, but I guess, from your perspective there, Blake, you looked like you were a fair way back once we got a chance to actually watch the actual start of that pass into the roller coaster. We've seen quite a few moves tonight that come unstuck. It's obviously a high risk, high reward situation, but you made it work. Were you close at all to losing the car with either a front lock or a rear lock up with the commitment you had to make to get up alongside Sam there?
To be completely honest, like every time I come onto that back straight, I had my forehead glued to like the steering wheel, trying to get the aerodynamics. And I seen him lifting a couple times into that corner, like at the end, and then I don't know, the last time coming down that back straight, I sort of thought it was over, and then at the last second, I was like, hang on, he lifts here, and yeah, I don't know, it was a bit of a how you go and move, and I don't know, it was, as Sam said, it was probably one of the best finishes I've had in sim racing, and that could have ended up pretty bad, like pretty quick, but Sam, I don't know, he allowed it to happen. Like, you don't really get good racing unless the guy next to you sort of does it with you, so it's really on Sam as much as me, like, to be able to pull that off, if you get what I'm saying.
I do indeed, yeah, no, I appreciate the credit going both ways from both of you there for that one. It's great to be able to hear that camaraderie, and I mean...
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to lose the car, because Sam, like, as we were getting to the apex, I realised he's going to give me space here, so... Yeah, it was sort of alright, because, yeah, Sam's good to race against.
Great to hear it from both of you there. And I mean, just an unfortunate case of there, you set yourself up, and then he's able to just get underneath you there through the last couple of turns. You just end up quite literally on the wrong side of the road because of that kink to the right. You were in front up until that point, all the way down the stretch. As you said, I guess, yeah, you enjoyed the battle, and that's what makes it count, which is, I guess, we'll have to just hopefully see some more of it again in later races. We go from quite obviously this nice open flowing circuit here at Long Beach. We're going to head off to the streets of, VIR. Long Beach is where we're going next, and that's certainly not open and flowing. You're going to have to worry obviously a lot more about the walls around that place and go back to the sprint racing format and all that will entail. So perhaps start with you, Blake. What's that going to sort of, does that change the philosophy of how you go racing? A lot less room for error, so you're going to have to be, I guess, a lot more on your toes by yourself, and when it comes to making moves, you're going to have to really, I guess, in that sense, lean on each other to be able to make passes work if it's going to be tight between yourself and another driver.
Yeah, I think it'll be a week to work on qual docs, I think. I don't really go too well in qual. I thought I went well tonight, but then I found out Sam just come home and hopped in and threw a random setup in, so that's sort of why I look like I did well. But yeah, I think if you don't quali well next week, it'll probably be rough, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a quali week next week, and then hope for the best in the race. Yeah,
fair enough. And I guess you make run of qualifying, but I'm going to turn your attention to Sam just to talk about this format coming up some more. Whilst that certainly matters for race 1, you're going to have to do the invert top 10 for race 2. And then still have to be able to find your way through a bit of traffic in that, yes, it's a longer race, but still got to get through possibly 8 or 9 cars to do so in that second race. So do you go in with the same kind of quali first mindset in that case, or you're going to have to balance it between both race 1 results and the invert that race 2 will set up for you guys?
Are you talking to me, Dan?
I was.
I think Pro Series is next week.
Yeah, okay, that might just put a pin in any conversation there for yourself. So, apologies for bringing it up then. Yeah, look, that shows you how well...
I swear you had a spreadsheet for that, Dan. Come on, man.
I may have. I also may not be looking at it right now because I'm focused on this. All right. I'll get back to you later if you're going to try and drag me down in the interview box, and we'll let you talk to the man who's been patiently waiting this entire time. James, unfortunately, didn't get a chance to chat to you last week, but great to have you here tonight to speak with us post-race. I mean, yeah, qualifying set the tone, it seems, and just did not put a foot wrong tonight. Was there anything that we might have missed that you could have wanted more out of the car, or you pretty happy with that one there as well from start to finish?
Yeah, no, car was pretty decent. We didn't get the greatest start, so I have to work on that. But other than that, so just cruised around and went for a bit of a tyre delta on the others. You know, to the late safety car, and yeah, cruised it to the finish. So can't complain.
No, and I mean, I guess the biggest problem for me is just trying to think about what can we actually talk about with you here tonight, because we have plenty of racing that we were observing elsewhere in the field, whether it be Sam, Blake, and Jace earlier on, and our dev class as well that's on track at the same time. But I mean, last week at Chicago, I guess if we could maybe quickly reflect on that. Obviously, you were strong there as well, and looks like between yourself and the AITX guys, they're learning some lessons off you, which looks to be good. But I guess maybe it's a different kind of track, so you don't get as much. It's harder to break away there, perhaps, apart from the precision needed to get everything right. I guess tonight it looked like it was just much more of a dominant run for you. Is there anything you can sort of think of that might help contribute to that? Your own personal experience and comfort at the circuit, perhaps, or just preparation or anything like that that might be able to help explain it to us?
Look, I do actually quite like this track, so that probably goes into it. I wasn't really a fan of Chicago at all, to be quite honest. But preparation, I wouldn't say I did a whole lot for either, to be quite honest. I was playing around with the setup a fair bit last week, and the first two races was pretty good, but the last race, went way too far, so that was really. And then I had a lot of screen sort of stutters as well, which made it quite difficult. I was whacking the walls everywhere, so that wasn't great, but it was a lot better here.
Yeah, okay, interesting points there to make. Well, since Blacklock brings it up, I will let you go and take the presumption that yes, it is indeed Pro Series means, well, unfortunately we'll lose yourself and Sam next week out. Yes, April 29. We'll have the V8 Pro Series racing next time out. Off to Road Atlanta for that one there. So that does mean, unfortunately, no chance to see you racing on the streets of Long Beach here next Wednesday night. So with that in mind, we'll be talking about 2 weeks in advance when Coda NASCAR West. If we see you back in 2 weeks' time, and we're talking about a race at Coda, any sort of thoughts on what that might be like when we get to it? Do you think you're going to like it? Do you not, or will that be a case of when you get there, you'll find out?
Yep, the latter for me. Is the West the old Supercars layout? Is it the West layout? Or what
The NASCAR West layout we've picked up for this season. So
Right.
track limits are very relaxed.
Good to see. I don't know. I'll suss it out in practice next week.
All right, then. Well, it's been a strong start, as I said once again. You actually were tied on points, as it happened with Will Buchanan. Unfortunately, Will not able to race for the next little bit, so hopefully when he's back on track, he'll try and give you another run for your money. And with that all said and done, to be honest, I can't quite think of much else to really highlight here, so my apologies for sort of running out of questions for you here, James. And so rather than hold you up, the floor is yours. If there's any shouts or thanks you want to give here whilst you're in the booth.
Thanks to the guys at Revolution E-Racing for, whilst not a formal member of the team, get to sort of work with the guys, with a bunch of blokes over there, have a bit of fun, run their colours and whatever else to help them out. So thanks to all those guys, really appreciate it. The sponsors for them, AITX, Shield Coat, Sudspeed and Kibby, but obviously always thanks to the Chiefs as well. Wouldn't be in the position if it wasn't for them. So sponsors with that, Aussie Broadband, Westfield, Logitech G, yeah, always big shout out to all those people for the support for, what's coming up for a year and a half now. It's good to see. And yeah, you guys for the broadcast each and every week. Big commitment from you. So hats off to all the effort that you put in for that, and the people that put on the GSRC, club as a whole. It's good to be a part of it. Good bunch of blokes, and put on some awesome series.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us here tonight, James. Well done. And hopefully, look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time once we hit up Coda. As in the meantime, Adam Waves will be able to quickly do some live points. So your championship margin now 304 points, plays 289. So that's 15 points ahead of Blacklock with another win on the round. Of course, another race win to extend the margin after our first 2 rounds out of 10. So great to hear from James here tonight. Sam, really quickly to you, as you said, you'll be missing out on Long Beach next week. So fast forwarding to Coda NASCAR West in 2 weeks' time. You've done some driving there, but it was in a Pro 2 truck, so it's a bit of a different sort of situation to get back in the Supercar. Have you actually done Supercar laps? I don't think you would have done Supercar laps there yet, unless there was a previous Gen season that's already used it.
No, I have not driven there at all yet. I don't even think since the update, I don't think I've ever taken the Gen 3 to Coda, and that's for good reason. But look, Coda, we'll see how we go. Love the, first sector of the track. Really hate sort of the last few corners, so I'm glad we're on the west layout. Make it a bit interesting, sort of through that mid sort of cut through. I think in terms of, talking about wins and stuff, I've put a 2-leg multi on for Coda. So I've got James Scott podium, Will Buchanan podium, and I think it's paying like $1.03 or something. So, hopefully can get some money out of that. I think we'll see how we go when we get to Coda. Obviously it'll be sort of same situation. Jump on, no prep, and just see where we can go.
Very well then. I'm just trying to remember if Will Buchanan's even going to be in attendance in 2 weeks' time, or if he might still be away, which would completely ruin your little multi you've got yourself keyed up for. I'm not sure if Will's able to confirm that at this time or not. We'll have to leave it be, I think, for now. There you go. Your multi's going to be in the bin, he says.
I wonder if I can cash out before. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe you've done. Then again, can we even talk about betting odds at this point in the evening? Maybe not. So we might have to leave that for another discussion, a completely different time. And any other shout-outs and thanks that you'd like to give that perhaps are a bit more team relevant and club relevant, perhaps?
Obviously, shout out to the sponsors, obviously Logitech G, iLiveries and Revolution Race Gear. Big thank you to you guys, obviously, for putting on the broadcast. I will thank Race Control in the form of Travis Azzopardi, who wasn't actually race control as far as I was aware, but was driving and replying to everyone. Obviously a big thanks to all my teammates that showed up, myself. Hopefully we have more of us for the next few rounds. Obviously, with Porsche Cup on, a lot of our normal Supercar regulars helping with our guys in the Porsche Cup Pro. So, hopefully have a few back for Coda and see what we can make out of the rest of these races that we can attend.
There you have it. P2 by maybe the edge of his splitter tonight for Sam Blacklock here at VIR. And Blake, just to finish off and come back to yourself, that might just give you a free shot next week in that case at a, not free shot, an easier shot, let's say. Because look, obviously we've got Chase Douglas at decent pace until the pit stop tonight. And who knows, Long Beach might be a completely different situation when it comes to who's got form and who doesn't. So Do you think you'll be able to come out strong once again? Sounds like arrive and drive is the theme of the season here, so sounds like the pressure's not on to necessarily do practice. So thoughts on that real quick to sign off with you?
It's a good track. I get along with it. Yeah, I agree with the arrive and drive sort of theme, but at the same time, like, GSRC is stacked with, I don't know, enough guys like myself that could one week put it up the front and some weeks not be there like this week. So you never really know who's going to be up there next week. So we'll just see what it brings.
Indeed, that sounds like indeed we're going to have to roll the mystery dice once we get on circuit. But any shout-outs and thanks you'd like to give here while we've got you in the booth to wrap things up?
Not too many. I've been running alone for a bit. Stumps and Redder for the dock work they've been doing with me, I guess. And Nemi does some laps with me, but he's a bit of a bot. But shout out to those two. And yeah, I don't know, that's about it.
Well, there we are. That's your podium from VAR. Big thanks to Blake and Sam and James, who was here earlier, for having the chat with us here tonight. Unfortunately, it looks like we don't have any of our dev drivers to tune in and have a chat with them. So we'll have to just refer to you all to the points that was scored here tonight. And as a party, Nathan Michael and Marcus Hankey, your top three across the line in class, will be the top three on points. But since all three of them have a did not race stat from Chicago, they are going to be 10th, 11th and 12th on points for this earlier part of the round. Eddie Barber, 4th on points for the round, so he'll actually increase his championship lead up to 33 points over brother Ryan Barber of the Gremlin Motorsports duo. And then Greg Heaney in P3 there on 254 points, jumps up 2 spots. As a result, Ross Armour holds down 4th. Jake Cowman is in 5th. And then it's a bit of a bigger gap there because it's Adam. There you go, Adam. There you are. P6 unfortunately knocked down the order by the did not race. Martin Lipsy, Jetty Dent, Dale Sharp, and then Travis as a party there once again to round out the 10 in the points, with 20 drivers having at least a point to their name in the Dev division this season of the Trophi.AI Supercar Series. Well, Adam, that's just about going to wrap us up here tonight. But any closing thoughts from you when it comes to the racing we've seen out here tonight from VAR across both the 86s earlier on and the Supercars here to finish up the evening?
It's pretty good, right? As I saw, the 86s did well to keep themselves in the close-knit pack for the whole time and put on some good racing and entertainment for us in the booth here. And yeah, the Supercars, plenty of little packs here and there. Obviously, James was a class above tonight. No one was able to put a finger on him. But yeah, both battles for second in both splits was on pretty much the entire race. So it was good to see. And hopefully that trend continues, and also it's good to see this week. We had a bit of a shortcoming of dev drivers last week, but definitely a bit more have turned up this week, so that's going to help the numbers and the influx of that championship, and really hopefully as the things even out, try and put some pressure on those Southern Sports esports guys, Southern Stars esports guys.
Once upon a time, I even thought that I was going to be in such a position I wouldn't be able to help out with the broadcast tonight, that maybe even I'd have a steer here at VAR. But alas, I am forever chaining myself to the comms box as and when available, since that is what I do agree to do here for the club. So maybe one day we'll get a steer in the Supercar once again, but that would require having more people to be able, who are available to and want to share the load around. I don't blame you guys. This is can be a tough gig. You've got to feel comfortable with speaking on the fly or pressing the buttons. So if you have any interest in doing it, I certainly encourage people to think about having a crack at it. It helps the club. Maybe you can learn something new and something you might find interesting. But alas, that'll be at the end of my pitch there, I think, for when it comes to talking about broadcasting and whatnot here at the GSRC. Before we sign off, shout out to all the sponsors once again that make the racing here at the GSRC possible. Starting, of course, here with Trophi.AI, our lead sponsor for the Supercar Series, for what feels like it's been like 5 or 6 seasons now since they came on board here with the Wednesday night Supercar racing. So big shout out to them. and of course one of the many training aids available that you can utilize to try and help yourself get faster on the iRacing service. Support the club by getting yourself a bit of merch and have something to take home for yourself and wear or have out and about in the world. Check out merch.GSRC.inc for that right there. Also got, of course, Flash Graphics supporting the club with decals and liveries for events like the Mountain Men on Saturday night. Decals for our sponsored categories here during the midweek racing. Of course, a big thanks to John for supporting the club with his artistic skills, and make sure to check out John if you're looking to perhaps get yourself an iRacing livery done for one of the many cars across the service. And then our main sponsor for season 2026B, once again, Disruptive Labs. Thanks to Richard and the crew there, also supporting the Formula V racing on Thursday night and our Gentlemen's Endurance Championship on Friday night. And then last in this rotation, but not least, as I said, Waste Options, our supporter of Monday night racing for several seasons now in the past, and glad to be able to hear that they are willing and interested to renew that commitment going forward for the time being. So big thanks to the team at Waste Options for making Monday night racing, which has been Wings and Slicks and GT3 for a little while now, the order of the day there. Before we finish up, let's have a quick look at what's coming up here on the platforms of the GSRC this week and early into next week. We will have broadcasting back tomorrow night live with Matt Schmicky, I believe it is. Or was that? No, that's in a couple of weeks. It'll be the split broadcasting services this week. Matt Schmicky will take you into Disruptive Labs Formula V from the Alton Park circuit. They're going to do their super sprint pre-race format there tomorrow night. Join Mr. Schmicky and Zach Caban back on the microphone, as you guys like to see, as usual. That broadcast will kick off at 7:25 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Racing kicks off at 7:30. If you're looking to race, make sure you get in the server before 7:20 to be able to take part in qualifying for the Formula Vs. And then after a short break, we'll get ourselves into, well, it's meant to be the main event, but as Zach keeps teasing, it's the Vs apparently that he keeps claiming is the main event of racing on a Thursday night. But nevertheless, the GSRC Porsche Cup will take to the streets of Long Beach. Perhaps a bit of a teaser for what some of the racing can be like in a mid-sized car, even if it does have more grip than a supercar, so it's not necessarily a one-for-one comparison. We have the sprint round, 12-lap opening race will be covered, covering the Porsche Open Cup division. And then after the race session break, get my words out here tonight, we'll then have the broadcast cut over to the Porsche Elite Cup division, which is in a separate server, unlike the supercars, for a 19-lap feature race, which will have an inverted top 10 there as well. Broadcast will kick off at 8:40 p.m. Green flag will drop at 8:45 p.m. for race 1 at Long Beach. Jump into that server by no later than about 8:30 p.m. to make sure you're definitely in for qualifying, folks. If you're looking to race that one there, with Andrew Neal stepping into the buttons for the Porsche Cup as part of our split duties between Matt and Andrew for production there. So there also will be two different streams that will need to be changed over between on that one there, folks. Then Friday night, the return of the Gentlemen's Endurance Championship, our first 105-minute race, which should get about 300 Ks is the approximate estimate, as the championship heads to the Autodromo Jimenez Rodriguez, otherwise you might know it as the Mexico City circuit on the Grand Prix configuration. We'll see our GTP cars go up against themselves and have to manage the GTE class that'll be out on track racing as well. That race will kick off at 8:30 p.m. Make sure you're in the server by 8:10 for qualifying, as there's also a warm-up after qualifying finishes, so yeah, make sure you're in time for all of that. And other thing there would be, we may have a broadcast for Friday night, but that is still to be confirmed, if it'll be live or whether we'll be putting that one on as a replay. Either way, there will be a wheel spin either in broadcast or posted to the Gents Discord server for the Mountain Men for their second week of racing. TCR cars were the order of the day last Saturday night. We'll have to find out what gets on the wheel for that second race. That'll kick off racing. Don't forget, 8 p.m. a VH8SC for the Mountain Men race start. There we are, fantastic. Thank you for that one there, Adam. 32 laps, just about 200 kilometres there for that race. That concludes the racing action for week 2 of the season, and then quickly flicking over to what's coming up start of next week. Your regular service will resume on Monday night in the form of Adam being back on the buttons and joined by Zach Caben for the Waste Options Monday night racing Wings and Slicks Formula 3, a 30-minute race at the Nürburgring Grand Prix course to kick off the night. Race starts 7:30 p.m. AEST. Qualifying is 10 minutes, so make sure you're in the server by 7:20 if you're a prospective driver. Our broadcast will kick off at 7:25, of course, to get the intro underway and take us into the gridding phase of that race, and then carry straight through at 8:30 p.m. green flag for the Waste Options GT3 series. Our pro split will be on the air as all of our 3 servers take to the Fuji International Speedway for a 60-minute regular round race. They're in that class. We'll cut over to the server, the GT3 server on broadcast from 8:25 p.m. For that one there. Committee's choice continuing on Tuesday next week. It is going to be the NASCAR truck class that is going to be out on circuit, and the Charlotte Motor Speedway is the format of the track of choice. It's actually 2 races, that will be on display. 20-minute opening race, a 40-minute second race. For that one there, just note that there is a server start time of 7 p.m, not a race start time of 7 p.m. Just with the various formats that are used and stuff as chosen by the committee members for that Tuesday night slot. I believe that race times might vary slightly. So just, at some time after 7 p.m, if you want to get in on that bit of NASCAR track action, make sure you jump in for that there. And to come full circle, next Wednesday night, we will have the merch.GSRC.com Toyota GR86 Challenge back at the streets of Long Beach. Sprint format, just like we saw tonight here at VIR, so watch out for a bit of fun and games in the qualifying shenanigans. Race 1 starts 7:30 p.m. AEST. Qualifying is 10 minutes, so drivers, if you're looking to race the 86s, get in by 7:20 p.m. Eastern for that. And then if we do have a broadcast, we'll kick off at 7:25 p.m. Fingers crossed, I'll be back on deck to press the buttons for that one. And also that Zach Caben should be back next week to lend us his voice, as it is a V8 Pro week, not a Porsche Pro week. And in fact, looking at my calendar for work right now, it's tentative still, but we should be good to be on the button pressing for next Wednesday night. Following that, it's exactly the same format as it turns out for the Trophi.AI Supercar Series. Same 2 sprint races, same length 2 sprint races. Just going to actually kick off, of course, at 8:45 p.m. Eastern for race 1, 8:40 p.m. for the broadcast cut over after 86s. 10-minute qualifying, so make sure you're in the V8 server no later than 8:35 p.m. Eastern if you want to take part there as well. So on behalf of Adam Lavis here, taking care of the button pressing tonight as part of our sort of mix things around week 2, and my big thanks to Adam for being able to help accommodate this to give us all the racing action live here on a Wednesday night. A big thank you everyone for taking part in watching, and whether you've been watching quietly or chatting along with us, good to have the interaction with you all here tonight and amongst yourselves. Good to see it as well. Look forward to whether you are watching along on a Thursday night, a Friday night, if we do have that live, Monday night or next Wednesday night live. Hopefully you can enjoy more of the racing here from the GSRC across our various categories. It's going to be goodbye for me for now. My name has been Danny Yeaman. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight. Have yourself a lovely Wednesday night, or watching this back whenever you do on replay. Until the next broadcast, whether it's with me or Adam or Schmicky or Andrew or Zach, we hope you have a good time, and we look forward to seeing you back for the next broadcast you choose to tune into. Bye for now, but hopefully not forever.